Welcome to a slightly different episode of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew, and tonight it is literally just me. We'll go through the reasons for that in just a minute. But tonight I'm going to go through the latest from FM, the L.I.F.E project, and Gutterfire. I'm also going to revisit a classic from Airbourne. We're going to talk about the latest singles from Leppard, SkinInc, Jewell, and Fozzy as well. I'm going to try and do these things best I can with the discussion points when it comes to Rolling Stones magazine readers, 10 best singers of all time, and then talk about a bit of overrated, underrated when it comes to on-stage gimmick outfits, things like that. I'll have a bin later on, all the usual stuff as well. So yeah, it's just me. Like I said, I'll get to the reasons why in just a second. Here we go. It's an interesting one here. So Nicole is going, good evening, lads. Yes, good evening, but it is just me. So unfortunately, there's no one else at the moment tonight. It's just one of those ones. Like I said, I'll go to it in just a second. But before we do, make sure you like, follow, subscribe, all the usual things that everyone gets you to do. The details for that are in the description box for this episode, whether you're watching live with us now or later on your own time. We do appreciate you tuning in whenever you choose to do so. So everything you need to know about us is there. Also, everything we're talking about tonight, there'll be a link in some way, shape, or form, either in that box or in the comments as we go through things. And a big thank you, of course, to our fantastic sponsors in Squiddy and Scrimping, Alt, Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, are in the description box. So please do find them, give them a like, a follow, a share. All those little things do make a big difference to everyone when it comes to the social media reach and getting the word out. Yeah, like I was saying, it is just me. I've said it a few times now, and that's because, for example, Dave and his wife managed to get the spicy cough, so they're not feeling too well, and so I know that the kids are on the mend for Dave, but him and his wife have been a bit under the weather, so Dave's out of action for now, and then the rest, everyone else has just got crazy schedules still. It's one of those. We've had a theory kicking around that this year, because everything's quote unquote opening up and everyone's sort of getting back to normal, everyone's sort of schedules are getting overloaded because, one, we're not used to things being open after the last couple of years, but two, people seem to be making up for lost time on a lot of things as well. It's happening when it comes to releases this year, for example, and a bit of last year, but mostly this year so far. It's just happening in day-to-day life. So I think everyone's just flat out, and it's just one of those things where instead of just doing it and just pushing it, bumping it out to tomorrow, I figured, we'll give it a go and see what happens when it's just me on my own. So I'll be interacting with the comments as much as I can to try and make this as entertaining as possible. But if I'm boring, I apologize, but I tend to be able to talk with marbles in mouth while I'm underwater, so I'm pretty good at this sort of shit. So we'll see how things pan out. Like I said, Nicole said good evening before. Keith, Rautism, hey bro, good to see you again, buddy. Hope you're doing well out there. Sally's going, hey Andrew, thank you for joining us again as always. Love the regulars. Dean says, hey mate, hope you're well. Wow, on your own. Fuck, that's different. Well, yeah, I'm going to be leaning on you a bit later on with the Airbourne one, so I'll be looking forward to your little bits and pieces of information coming through on that one. Nicole says, good evening, just you and Keefe. So there we go. And Lee has gone AB, the solo man. Well, I am here tonight on my own, just for now. We'll see how things go. But figured, fuck it. What's the worst? It was funny because in the group chat before, I just put in there, should I just go live and just see what happens? Or, should I postpone until tomorrow night? Brendan's reply was, what's the worst that could go wrong? And I said, well, there's pretty much only one way to find out. So let's see how badly we can fuck this up together, folks. Keith has said, bugger, poor Dave. Yeah, no, he's pretty under the weather. Tim had it a little while ago, and Tim went through it pretty comfortably. Dave's had it a bit rougher, so it's a bit unfortunate. But yeah, he's on the mend, hopefully, slowly but surely. But yeah, at least his kids are all right, and that's the main thing for him. Rowan, good to see you, buddy. Thanks for joining us as always. Giving us the horns there with the little fucking M and the slashes and stuff. So there we go. Alrighty. So it is just me. There's no need to do the rounds. I'm just sort of doing okay. I'm doing as well as I always do. Just another busy week as always for me. It's been a bit of a manic one, more so than usual, because I've been helping my brother with his birthday party coming up, and then we've had this marathon week this week on Channel 31. So that means getting about 6 hours of TV stuff ready to go for Channel 31, as well as the stuff for Channel 44. So it's about 7 hours worth of TV to be, uploaded and set up and ready to go. When the space of normally I do 2 in a week, I do 7 on these weeks. So it's a bit of a hectic week all around. But generally speaking, everything's good. Nothing to complain about. Keeping well. Alrighty, so Keith has said this year we've got gigs planned from now to October. So far so good. Awesome, man. Keep it up. Good to see that the live music scene is getting out and about. And if you are subscribed to us on YouTube, if you haven't, please do. But if you are, you would have seen that earlier tonight I released our first gig review in quite some time because Nikki went out and saw Ablaze and a few other bands the other night. And so there's about a 10-minute long epic, awesome, amazing. Like, well done to Nikki for that review. So there's a great review on our YouTube page right now for you to go and check out if you want to go and do so. Otherwise, I'll share it across the socials tomorrow. Sensory Sarah on YouTube. Hello, have a nice night. Same to you. Hopefully you're keeping well out there. And Michael's going, hey, Andrew. Hey, Dean. Great to see you again at the poor Riff Raiders at Cherry on the weekend. Yes, that is going to be a cracking gig as well. Do have a different gig to plug, which is a bit further out, but I'll get to that in just a minute. But let's get stuck into things. Let's get into the music side of things because it is just me, so I'm not going to try and waffle on too much. I will try and keep the night moving along. But the first single we're going to talk about tonight with the hard rock happening side of things is the new single from Def Leppard. It's called Kick. It's in the sorry, before we do. No Caesar, he's in and out. So when I'm able to, I leave the door open so Caesar can sort of wander in and out. He does usually come and lie down with me just on the floor here, but he'll be in and out as the night progresses, I'm sure. But no, Sally, he is a bit in and out. And Ms. Nikki lost her voice. Yeah, she got a bit excited on that review, or the day after. She filmed that one on Sunday. The big gig was on Saturday. And so she was a bit excited and on the night before and blew her voice out. So you can hear that in the review as you go along. So if you want to hear Nikki with a sexy voice, go and listen to that. But anyway, in the comments, in the description box, we've got the latest single from Def Leppard, which is called Kick. Oh, hang on. Quick one here from Rowan. Curious if this ep runs shorter or longer. Could be either way, man. It's a toss of a coin, believe me. Anyway, Def Leppard Kick. It's in the description box. It's in the comments as well. A link for that. So their new album, Diamond Star Halos, is due on May 27. This is our first taste from that album. There's 15 tracks due when that comes out. And they've worked on this whole project remotely over the last couple of years in particular. They haven't been able to go on tour. I think they've been a while not on tour now, actually a couple of years. They had that big thing with Motley Crue and something else scheduled, and that's also gone by the wayside. But this is one of those ones they've been trying to just cobble together, and because they haven't had the pressure, they've been able to sort of handpick and refine the songs as much as they like. Like I was saying, this is the lead single from the album, and it's got that upbeat vibe. It's got a bit of a feel-good sort of feel to it. It's a song that you think would be a good addition to the live set. It sounds like an older Def Leppard, to be honest. It's pretty much exactly what you're expecting. They're not going to win any new fans with it, but they're not trying to. They don't need to at this point in their career. But at the same time, if you're a fan of this band already, this is probably a song that's going to make you pretty happy with it. I've got to give a nod to the hook on this particular track, though. It's got that the melody with the sort of the clapping thing that goes on with some of the songs they do. It gets stuck in your head really, really quick. So it's one of those ones where, yeah, if you like a good hook in a song, it's going to get in your head very, very quickly. It's got a solid riff, good rhythm to it. Joe Elliott still sounds great as well. Neat little solo in this one too. The groove and the hook, though, that's what's the accent point of this song in particular. Like I was saying before, if you're a fan, this should really please you. It's one of those things, though, with if you have been following the band, they haven't leaned into the extreme production style of the earlier days. They've sort of stripped things back a bit as years gone. This still sounds really good. It's well produced. It's just not got all the heaps of layers going on. There's just a bit here and there going on in it production wise that makes it interesting. Like I was saying, the claps and that, there's a few layers to it, but it's not heavily produced. It's just a catchy, straightforward rock song. It's not going to rock you well, but it's a very cool track. And, as always with this band, I, for one, am keen to check out the album. So, yeah, give us your thoughts on this one and if you're keen to check out the album as well. Got a few comments here, which is nice. Audio Rain, good to see you guys. Hopefully you're keeping well over there. New Def Leppard, look forward to hearing it. There you go. So you can follow that in the links. Dean says, liked it, new album out soon. Glad they're still putting out stuff. So am I. And like I was saying before, the new album is Diamond Star Halos. It's due on May 27. And Rowan says, I gave this a listen earlier today. A solid track, but not a standout from their catalogue. They'll be buying the album regardless. Still a bit of a Def Leppard fan. You're not alone there, mate. And this is one of those ones where they're doing it for themselves and the existing fan base will be the only ones that will be really invested in it. And I think that's perfectly fine. All right, I've got a couple of Aussie ones to get to next, and then we'll get on to the another overseas one after that. First up is one that was sent in to us by the band. Quickly, though, before we do, Sally's got one here. I haven't listened to this band since the one after Hysteria. So there we go. It's been a while between drinks for Sally. There's some older stuff, newer stuff than that you might actually enjoy. I'd be curious to see how you go. But anyway, next up, it's in the comments, it's in the description box. The band is SkinInc, SKININC with a full stop at the end. And the song is It Saved My Soul. This is the new single from this band, which they sent to us via email a few days ago. I think it's during the last stream, actually. So maybe last Thursday, they sent me an email. And I went, okay, cool. Well, we'll give it a look and we'll see what happens with this one. So yeah, SkinInc, It Saved My Soul. That is the new single we're going to talk about. Ben has gone, what room are you in? I am in the room that I'm normally in. I'm not sure if that's directed at someone else or me, but yeah, no, I'm in the usual room that I film in all the time. It's a little set that we've got back here. If I could do a wider shot, you'd see there's a full-blown wall behind me and stuff as well. But I'm not going to try and get up and move this thing around while I'm in the middle of doing this. It'd be more entertaining if there was other people here to sort of hold the fort, but it's just me, so I'm not going to do it. But SkinInc are a band out of Australia that they about 20 years ago, they sort of called it a day, and they've just come back. This is the second single they've released this year, so they're seeming to, get back into the swing of things, so to speak. So apparently there's more to come as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. After 20 years away, the band has sort of had some time. They've got a new member, I think, on bass, if I'm correct, and helping co-write songs and that. So they've sort of evolved, and if anything, the years have been kind to them. So here we go. This is one of those songs where it's all about if music has been the thing to pull you out of the fire, so to speak. So if you've been down or angry or whatever else have you, if you're not having a good time in life, how many of us have actually turned to music? I know that I'm one of those people. I'm pretty sure a lot of the people tuning into this one out there have done so at one point or another as well. So yeah, this is one of those songs that's perfect for that kind of stuff. It's a really short track. It's really groove laden. It's got some nice retro tones and feel to this one. Not a complicated track. Doesn't need to be for this sort of stuff, to be honest. You just want it to be a good, solid tune, and it does that. But yeah, as I was saying before, the message on this one lyrically is pretty bloody clear, and I think a lot of us will genuinely connect to it as well. It does have that little tug on the heartstrings kind of moment and make you feel a bit nostalgic. But for those particular times, a lot of us are a bit older and have learned to deal with things in life a bit differently. But there are still times, no matter where you are in life, that I think that music is your saving grace. And I think, yeah, this song resonates with that message really, really nicely. There's a neat little slow section in the middle of this song as well. There's a nice rumble in this one. The bass comes through clearly. There's a tasty little solo. So they've packed a lot into like 2.5 minutes for this song. The rhythm section is fantastic. The vocals are perfect for the style as well. It's got that sort of semi-spoken style to it that has a great bit of attitude thrown into the mix as well. And there's a little closing bit right at the very end of the song, which is a nice little parting shot as it goes out too. It's just a solid all-around track. It's just the right kind of rough around the edges as well. It sounds great. And this coincides with a lot of their catalog, if not all of it. I know a lot of their catalog is now available on streaming services. So this song, the previous single, and there's a whole lot of their stuff out there as well, including a compilation they released, I think, last year, which is like a best of what they'd done before going on hiatus. So if you're intrigued by this track, there's a lot more to go and check out, and it's all there on streaming services now. But I enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to hearing more from this one too. So a big thank you to the band for sending it in. And for those that do want to send stuff in directly, the best way to do so is via email, and that is media@thehardrockshow.com. I will copy and paste that, to be honest. It's in the description box as well in case you're looking for it. The email address is bloody hell, now I've got fucking things going on. So this is where it's fun, where it's just me, because I've got to do all the typing and everything on my own. But yeah, it's media@thehardrockshow.com is the email address. That's the one to just send you submissions or requests or whatever else through to as well. What do we got here? We've got some comments coming through on that one. So support Aussie from Audio Rain. Yes, of course. That is the main point of the whole thing. Sally says music calms a savage beast, and that is definitely the truth. Sally also said the video is cool. It is a neat little video too. And if you're tuning in on Saturday night on Channel 31, you will see that video being played as well. But like I was saying, if you've got a submission, then please do send it through via the email, media@thehardrockshow.com. And Carly's joined us, which is actually very nice timing there, Carly, because we're about to talk about your single next. But she's just saying Audio Rain fucking rock. And yes, they absolutely do. If you haven't seen that band live or checked out their album, please do so. They've got some more stuff on the way too, which is very, very exciting. All right, Carly, it's just me, but you're going to get my thoughts anyways. And so this is the new single from Carly Jewell. It's called Trouble We Are. There's a link in the description box. There's a link in the comments now for those that are tuning in live. So Carly Jewell, Trouble We Are is the next one we're going to go with. So I've got a question there from Ben. I'll get to that in a minute, mate. All right, so this, if I'm correct, Carly, you're here, so you can actually tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I think doing some reading around, this is one of 3 tracks put down not too long ago over at Colour Sound Studios with Matt Robbins, which always has great results. So there's that one for you. And this is the first new single since Dancing with the Devil in 2021, which came after the fantastic debut album Phoenix in 2019. The goal of this one was to be a really cool rock track, one of those ones, because at the time that this was going on, there was a plan to go overseas and do some shows at Rose Tattoo and all sorts of stuff there as well. But yeah, obviously, you know, life and other such things have gotten in the way, with the last couple of years being as they are. Now, this has a great energy and a really cool vibe to it, this single. The mix is bang on for the style as well. I liked the, in particular, different vocal approach that's being used production-wise and also stylistically between the verse and the chorus. There's a great big gear shift between the 2 modes there, which is really well done, and it makes those 2 parts of the song really counter off of each other nicely. It's got a great hook in this. Carly really has a unique tone all of her own vocally, and I think that, and this is not to say she never was comfortable, but I think that there's a definite sense now that she's leaning into her own unique sound and style, and very firm in who she is when it comes to doing music now. If I'm wrong, I apologize, Carly, but that's the impression I get now, because it feels like there's just a lot more of you being put into these songs, as opposed to, not that you never did that. Now I'm going to dig myself out of a hole now. But no, it's just one of those ones where you just get the impression that you feel like someone has really settled into their skin and is just doing what they do and really going for the fences now, which I think is fantastic. So yeah, I think that's fantastic. I like hearing when artists really develop into their own, and not that there was anything lacking before, but it's just there's a different step up, which is what I'm trying to get to. There's a nice little mid-song break, which stretches it out nicely. I love the little double track vocal approach as well, and that's another one of those things that I think is one of those tricks being leaned into by Carly with the production style. There's a lot of double track on the vocals, and they're not bang on absolutely millimeter perfect, and I like how there's that slight, you can hear the different takes in there, and I actually really do enjoy that real organic feel to the vocal that comes with it. It adds bite, it adds some attitude to things. There's some great lead work in this one as well, which, you know, really goes well with the energy in this song. I'm at the point where I don't think this outfit, be it Carly on her own or the band overall, is able to release a bad song. I just think they're all too good at what they do now. I'm keen for more as soon as possible, Carly, so whenever you're ready, let us know. I know there's a video in the works, I think, for this song as well. But if you're a fan of anything upbeat rock related, then this is one you've got to get onto. This is a cracking track, and if you dig this, then check out the album and the previous singles as well. You will not be disappointed. Got a lot of love for Carly and her work. A lot of us do here at the show. So check her out live, and we've also got an interview with her, which is online and available as well. So there we go. Check out that track and give us your thoughts as we go along. Where are we going? Got a few comments here, which is cool. Okay, so Audio Rain said Carly fucking rocks too. So there's a lot of mutual appreciation going on, which is fantastic. Keep it up, folks, in the comments, which is awesome. Danny, good to see you, buddy. He's gone AOL, so there we go. Keith has gone Carly, so there's a lot of love going around now. But Dean says, top track by Carly, rock and roll, support local talent. So there we go. So we're getting a lot of love going through. Carly says, yes, it's the first track. Michael said, great song, Carly. So that's awesome. Getting some cool feedback too. And Carly's gone, I really am not wrong. So cool. Good to see that you are settling into that sort of thing. I wasn't off base on my commentary there. DV going the joining us on YouTube. Good to see you, buddy, with the off-topic comment here. The Bombers will bounce back. We'll see. That was a pretty ordinary loss the other day. TC isn't overly confident, so we'll see what happens this week coming up. Danny says, I like this. The bass can be turned up, but as a bass basher, I always think that we'll check out more, though. Please do, and let us know what you think, because if you like that track, I think you will heartily enjoy everything else that Carly has done so far as well. All right. We're going to talk about one more single, and then I'll go back to that question from Ben Supertramp in just a moment. But one more single here. So this one goes back to overseas territory now. And as we're all wrestling fans here, how can I not put this one in when it's a brand new track? This is the latest from Fozzy. It's called I Still Burn. And I think overall, if I'm correct, well, there's a link in the description and in the comments now just to get that on the record as well. But the artist is Fozzy. The song is I Still Burn. And this, I think, is the third track overall from the new album Boombox, which is due on May the 6th. So this one's a bit further out, but when you go to Spotify and usually have different singles, all the singles sort of link into the one little miniature EP, which is a thing that's been happening on Spotify now, where they're sort of combining the singles that are to go from the same album into the one little neat little easy to find section. So this is, I think, the third single overall because they're all linked together. This will be their first album since 2017's Judas, which is a song on that we all know and love pretty well. And it's a song about chasing a dream, something about a mission statement for this band. I think, for me personally, I think Chris Jericho might be a bit overlooked as a vocalist. I know that everyone knows him for his wrestling and stuff, but he's got really good chops, especially for the style that he's doing. He's got more than enough talent to carry this band and really be a frontman. You can get the attitude, like, you know how you get the on-camera persona when you're watching him doing the wrestling stuff, but the singing stuff is the same but different at the same time. And I think you still get that attitude and his spark that comes through vocally, which I think is really underrated. His range is pretty good, especially in the start and the chorus of this song. And it's very much a modern heavy rock track. It's a bit snapped to the grid, slightly production heavy. If you like, the more modern style of things, you're going to enjoy this one. If you don't like those ones, if you're a little bit more classic, more organic, then it's not going to do anything to change your mind. But for the style of music, I think it's got nice punch, nice weight. It's got the balance between the light and the shade on this track is really, really well done. I think that, they just did a really good job of giving you contrast, which for a song that's a bit more staccato is really, really helpful to make it sort of move and breathe a bit. There's a neat little solo in this one as well. All in all, if you're a fan of the band or the genre, this will make you pretty happy. So if you like your bands like, Shinedown, 3 Days Grace, all that kind of stuff, all the more modern kind of stuff, you're going to enjoy this track regardless, or if you're a fan of the band. If you're not, it's not one of those ones that's going to change your mind, but at the same time, it's pretty well done and worth a look. So yeah, there we go. It's a good, solid, modern, heavy rock to metal song. I'm looking forward to the album personally, and let us know there if you are as well. Got a different comment here. What do we got here? BP is saying, looking forward to your view on the Rolling Stone best 10 singers. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm sure we're going to pick that apart in a little bit. But before we do that, this is a little bit of a tough one because Ben has gone, what is your favorite band? That's a question from a little bit back. Mate, that changes any given day. It's hard to... My top three are probably going to be Metallica, Alice in Chains, Motorhead. Probably my top three. That's about as far as I'm going to be able to narrow it down. You'd be able to throw bands like Rammstein into the mix as well. There's a lot. There's a lot. And that's not even touching on the stuff I've just found and had submitted over the years on the show. It all depends on your mood, what you love, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, those are my... You're going to be the best you're going to get at me on the spot is probably a top three. It could be a topic for another time where we sit there and go, okay, well, what are our top 5 or 10 personal choices of all time? It's a tough one. But if you're out there, so Ben or anyone else that wants to let us know what your favorite bands are or your top 3, get in the comments and let us know. Yeah, Pink Floyd's another one that's up there as well. So if I was going top 5, I'd add Rammstein, Pink Floyd probably to the mix. Like it gets harder and harder as you start stretching things out. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it. But that's probably the best I can answer that question when it's just me. But yeah, in the comments, let us know. So your top 3, maybe. See if you can narrow it down to that while you're out there. Danny has gone on the song before from Fozzy. Started slow, but the vocals are insane. Not my cup of tea, but a great sound. Nice. Cool. Good feedback there. Lee says, good to see you, buddy, again. Solid track. Look forward to the album. Dean says, like this track. Great wrestler too. Yes, he is very, very good. And Danny said, Beatles, Motorhead, Iron Maiden. See, Iron Maiden be in there as well. Fuck, this is where it gets silly because you start... Again, it depends on your day, your mood, all that kind of stuff. And Ben's gone, I asked you about 9 years ago and your answer was Alice in Chains. Thought I'd check in again. Well, that hasn't changed. It's still in my top 3 for sure. So, yeah, the top 3 go-tos is probably going to be, Metallica, Iron Maiden, and... Iron Maiden. Metallica, Alice in Chains, and Motorhead, like I said. Those are probably the top 3. Yeah, it's not going to change too much. Andrew's gone, I don't know how people can pick a single favorite or even 3. It is challenging to do. It is one of those ones as well. And Darren, good to see you. Got a comment here from him. PJ Farley from Trickster is now on bass. Okay, I did not know that. Awesome. Fozzy seems to change bassists like Spinal Tap drummers. There are a few bands that go through... It's funny when you get a band that goes through a particular portion. if it's the bass player or the drummer, or there are some bands you just know they just turn through them for some reason. Arcane Saints, love them to death, but even they will acknowledge it. They go through bass players like nothing else. So it's just funny as fuck to see some bands that just for some reason struggle with things. I don't know why, how, what, but it is just the way it is sometimes. Alrighty. I'm going to do a bit of a gig plug here now, very, very quickly. Now, this is a band that I absolutely adore. They're taking the stage for the first time in a long time, so I'm plugging this one early because I'm pretty sure tickets are going to go pretty bloody quick on this. So in the comments for this one is where we're going to go with it. This is Jackson Firebird. Saturday, May the 7th, they're going to play at Cherry Bar. What else have we got here? So just quickly going through the event here. So the band that bumped Lady Gaga, Jackson Firebird, are back at Cherry Bar. Holy blue balls, Batman. It's been a long time between sets, but the fire is lit. The bird is rising. It's time to empty the bottle bin, flip it the wrong way around, and tub thump the shit out of it. We're back to our old stomping ground, Cherry Bar. Get up, get down for a night of face melting, groin vibrating, sweat fueled, dirty rock and roll. Yeah. Support's yet to be announced, but Jackson Firebird, if you haven't checked out that band at all, fuck, they're fantastic. What they do as a two-piece with the drums and the bottle bin and the guitar and the vocals is great. They're fantastic live. For a two-piece band, my God, they're insane. Go and check them out if you get a chance to do so. And I don't know when they're doing the next one. This is their first gig in several years. I'm not sure what's triggered it. I noticed there was a bit of rumbling on their social media pages turning over again. I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then suddenly they announced a gig. So I'm hopeful. So Harves and Dale, if you're watching, I'm hoping there's more music on the way from you guys as well, because the 2 albums you've done to date are fucking phenomenal. So if you do see this, I'd like to see more from you guys as well. But yes, great band. Check them out. I'm plugging this one early. Like I said, it's May 7th. So just again, Jackson Firebird at Cherry Bar, Saturday, May the 7th. Get your tickets now. It's all the info is in the link, which I'll post in the comments, because, or just find it on Facebook. Go Jackson Firebird at Cherry Bar and you'll find it. But yeah, get in early, because yeah, they haven't done anything for a while, and I have a feeling this one will sell pretty bloody quickly. So make sure you get amongst it. Love that band. Great guys too, for the record. Had the pleasure of chatting with them a few times, and they're great people too. So there we go. Check them out. Back onto the top 3. Here we go. Sally's gone Metallica, Slipknot, Black Label Society. All good choices here. Viking Girl over on YouTube, thanks for joining us once again. Top 3 is way hard, but I'll go the Cult, Motley Crue, and Aerosmith. Well, there we go. So we're getting some more diverse choices here, and that's the beauty of music, I guess, at the end of the day. Leah's gone Dale and Brendan are awesome live. And yes, that's back to Jackson Firebird. They are phenomenal live, and yeah, like I said, fantastic people to boot. Alrighty. Now we're going to move on to, I'm just going to quickly scroll back and make sure I haven't missed anything. The next bit of conversation point, I guess, is the Rolling Stone readers' best 10 singers of all time. So this is something that's been voted upon, and we'll see what happens. Roland quickly has gone Beyond Twilight, Ayreon, The Gathering. Now, Ayreon's up there as well. They're very, very cool. Rautism, good question. Can I phone a friend? You can do whatever you want. You're sitting at home, so go for it. Oh, here we go. Viking Girl. Wow, you talk so fast, Andrew. You'd make a hell of a hectic auctioneer. I do apologize. It's harder when you're on your own, because you try and feel like you're going through things. I will try and slow it down. I have had a knack in the past of talking way too fast, so I'll just take a quick pause. It is one of those things that I do know that I do. So I'll try and just make it a bit slower, because I do appreciate that I can talk incredibly stupidly fast at times. But this is... Moving on, we got Rolling Stone. Rolling Stone magazine did this. I don't know how it all worked out. They did an audience poll, and from that they got the readers' 10 best singers of all time. And I'm going to go through and sort of pick this list apart a little bit, because I think there are some fucking ridiculous choices. So give us your thoughts as we go. Fucking really? Jesus Christ. All right, let's just go from the top down, because there's one I'm going to pick apart at the end. Now, number 1 was Robert Plant, from, obviously Led Zeppelin. So forgive me if I'm not paying attention to the comments just for a little bit while I scroll through this other page. But yeah, Robert Plant, yeah, I can accept that definitely being a top 10 vocalist. I think his ability, his chops, his tone, and what he's done for music is definitely there. I can live with that. What else have you got here? Number 2, Freddie Mercury. That would probably be my personal number 1. Or at least definitely up there. So this one's an easy one as well. I'm happy with that choice. That's an easy, yep, cool, that's a pass. Next, Bono at number 3. I think you can go and get fucked with that one. Not saying he's a bad singer. He's actually pretty good. But top 10 of all time? No, definitely not. Not. See, I'm not sure of the criteria. If it's just a popularity contest, well, then this will make a lot of sense. If it's actually based on, sort of merit, I guess, and now it's going to be subject to, eye of the beholder kind of mentality. But no, just no. Not. I wouldn't put him in my top 10. There's much better, more diverse, more powerful vocalists out there than Bono. I get that emotively he does really well, but that's not quite enough to make it top 10 for me. He wouldn't even be a thought for mine. What else we got? Mick Jagger. Definitely not. Now, I know he's a great front man, but that's not vocalist. So that's a dodgy pick. Considering this is, the 10 best singers of all time, it's like, no, Mick Jagger is not one of the 10 best singers of all time. Good frontman, not the best singer. There is a big difference. You could even say the same. Number 5 is Jim Morrison. I reckon you could even go the same argument there. Great frontman, very enigmatic character, but is he an extremely amazing vocalist? Now, not convinced. This is why I think it's much more of a pop. This is like when Howie from Collingwood, go back to the footy, missed out on Mark of the Year because it's a bullshit popularity contest and wasn't done on merit. This is what this list feels like to me as a Collingwood supporter. Roger Daltrey, yeah, okay, cool, we can go with that one. So I'm happy with that being a top 10 contender. Then 7, Eddie Vedder. I'll even pay that one to a point. I think that he's talent. I know people don't like the tone and the inflection he puts on his vocals. It's very much a taste thing, but when it comes down to pure ability, versatility with his style as well, it can be aggressive, it can be really melodic and soulful and stuff too. His latest solo album is a really good listen. It gives you much more of a showcase of what he's capable of as well. So I think, yeah, I'd be happy with that one. I can understand that one being in there. Number 8, John Lennon. Again, I think this is one of those ones that comes down to popularity contest and the way people view things. Now, his legacy can't be denied. This is not about legacy or any of those things. It's about pure vocal ability for mine, just as how I'm looking at it. And I understand it being there. I'm not quite convinced, but I understand it being there because how could you not? It's hard to, overlook John Lennon, but at the same time, he was one of 4. So, was Paul McCartney a better vocalist, pure vocalist, than John Lennon? I reckon there's a case to be made there. Number 9 was Chris Cornell. Now, there's a few of the grunge ones in here, and Chris Cornell, as much as I'm not the world's biggest Soundgarden fan, I can pay that because he's again, when it comes down to pure talent, his emotive ability, like we're talking about emotive stuff, Chris Cornell can really emote when he sings nicely. And just his ability to be powerful and then subtle and all those things there. He's got great control of his voice. So I think, yes, I can live with Chris Cornell being there. But then we get to number 10. For some reason, this one scraped in, and there's no way in hell this is a 10 best vocalist of all time. Kurt Cobain. I'm sorry, no. Just no. I didn't even know how that notoriety, all those things, legacy, yes, I'll pay all those things. But if you're going to make it, the Rolling Stone readers pick the best lead singers of all time. No, just absolutely fucking not. Kurt Cobain doesn't deserve to be even near this list while Caesar goes chasing after something he found in the backyard. So that's my thoughts. I've just picked it apart. I'm thinking that in due course we'll make a thing here on the show where we'll sit there and we'll go through our own personal top 10, and then we'll try and maybe draft a top 5 at a different time. We'll make some content out of this, but yeah, I just wanted to sit here and basically pick apart this list because I think it's basically a load of shite. There's some contenders in there for sure, but not a lot. So about a 50-50 mix there. There's heaps you could go. There's so many more. We're going to get some vote. We've got some people in the comments. I'm going to quickly scroll back. Okay, could be a bit. All right, what do we got? Okay. All right, so, sorry. So back to my talking fast. Viking Girl's gone, no, it's great. Okay, well, at least I get to get through things pretty quickly. My mind tends to go a lot faster than everything else I got going. You should see me typing or writing. I get extremely frustrated because nothing actually keeps up with just this nonsense in here. But anyway, on to this one. So Andrew's gone, try to do a top 3 with his favorite bands. He's gone Led Zeppelin, Metallica, Alice in Chains. Good top 3 there as well. BP has tried Kansas, Styx, Jethro Tull. Some nice choices in there as well. Danny says link didn't bite. I'm not sure. Okay, weird. I'll try and open this up again just as a just in case moment. I'm going to copy and paste the actual direct link this time and just put it in the comments for those that didn't get it last time around. It's a long comment thing there, so go and check it out there. But what else have we got here? So going back through the comments again. Sorry. Okay, yes. Rowan said Rolling Stone link doesn't work. I'm not sure. There's a lot of people saying it doesn't work. So I put another one in there now, so hopefully you can go through it and look for yourselves there. I'm not sure why it didn't work. It worked for me on my computer here, but yeah, obviously something's gone wrong there. So I'll put a different link in the comments for those that want to go and check it out. Otherwise, just Google Rolling Stone 10 best vocalists of all time. It's a new thing. You will find it. There's a whole lot of posts about it online as well. Nicole says no Bono. She also says no to Jagger. So there's a couple of ones in agreement to my thoughts there. Going back to a top three, Ben says Deep Purple, Pink Floyd, and Rush. Good choices there. DB says yes, Sabbath and Zappa. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so Danny's gone for fuck's sake. No Bruce, no Baz Bark, no Halford. Tell them they're dreaming. Again, like I said, we're going to get some feedback on people saying what they would put there instead. Here we go. Nicole says, I prefer George over all of them in the Beatles. So there we go. Another choice for the vocalist for that point there as well. Here's a good point. Roland's gone, top 10 lists are always nonsense, but this one is especially weird. But it's really just identifies Rolling Stones readers and the music they listen to. And that's always a different sample or cross-section of society as well. I'm pretty sure that if we polled, maybe we should do an audience poll just for shits and giggles. Nothing else to get social media traction right up. But we should do a poll of the 10 best vocalists of all time on our socials and see what kind of a different result we get to the Rolling Stone one there. It'd be a very, very different crowd, which will, again, give you very different results. Lee says, grunge produced some good vocalists. Definite no on Kurt. Cornell, definitely yes. Staley and Lanigan are contenders. I would definitely go with Staley for mine. Staley, fuck, yes, definitely. Darren's gone, is just a link. Yes, it looks like he's found the link there as well in Facebook. So there we go. Cole has gone, this list is as great as is the Hall of Fame. So there's a good point there as well. Sally's gone, no Bono or Jagger, no Lennon. Chris Cornell is something else. He should be there without doubt. Yes, not a good list at all. This is why I was just sitting going to pick it apart. Okay, that link works. So cool. Dean's gone, no Bon either. Fuck, a lot missing. Rautism, Vedder over Cornell, sacrilege. I would agree on pure talent. DB's gone, Steve Marriott has a great rock voice. And Danny's gone, what Rowan said, but with more swearing. So yes, there's definitely a lot in there as well. So let us know what you would put. Maybe we should do it just to follow this up. We'll try and make a bit of a social trend out of this as well. Fucking Caesar's going off over there. Just for context, it's dark outside, obviously. It's nighttime. And so all I can see is this black and white blur as this dog that can run up to 55k an hour just goes fucking tearing down the yard. So it's he's a big boy that can move very, very quickly. But anyway, it's an interesting list. We'll probably make this into a social thing, so stay tuned. Make sure you're following us to keep up to date with all that stuff as well. But if you want to, just let us know who you'd put in there as, sort of maybe think we had a top 3 bands. Maybe think of your top 3 vocalists just for now to see what happens with that. Just as a commentary thing there while I just stop for a moment and have a sip. Alrighty. Apologies for the dead air, folks. It is just me, and I do talk a lot, which means that, I've got to wet the pipes, so to speak, wet the whistle. Alrighty, so I was going to try and do this as a bit of an overrated, underrated thing. These always work better when there's more of us, clearly. Oh, no, let's join me. But I'll give my thoughts. I don't know if anyone heard that, but there's this massive pouncing going on from one dog to the other. But anyway, Ben, do I believe in ghosts? Well, we're getting random conversation now with just me here. I will say unequivocally, yes. I lived in a house that had 3 of them, and I used to see them daily. So I know that some people don't believe in this sort of stuff, but for me, I used to live in a completely haunted house. So yes, I do completely believe in ghosts, and make of that what you will. Everyone's got their own little thing on that one, but that's definitely a thing for mine. Seen far too much in my time to discount the concept. But all right, let us know out there if you believe in ghosts, just for something different. And I love the band. So, if we're going to go down that path, then, if you have ghosts, you have everything. So there we go. All right. So for something different, a bit of overrated, underrated. Now, like I said, these ones tend to go a bit better when there's different opinions going around, but I'm going to try and just give it my thoughts and let us know in the comments what you think of it out there as well. So the overrated, underrated thing here is inspired by a little bit of fun that was going on in the THRS family chat that we have going on behind the scenes. And this is about, sort of gimmicky outfits and stuff. It started off with, commentary about, ridiculous headphones, i.e. Wes Ball and that kind of stuff. So silly little gimmicks on stage. Are they overrated or underrated? Let us know your thoughts out there in the comments. It's going to be a lot more fun to bounce off with you guys than just having myself. But for mine, I've got two ways of looking at it. I think that when it comes to full-blown band gimmicks, I mentioned Ghost before, that's one of them. Ghost, Slipknot, even Kiss to a point, but maybe not quite. But bands that have like a uniform appearance and make it a part of their overall shtick. Rammstein would fall into this part as well. But yeah, when the image is part of the sell, then I genuinely believe that can work for the band. And I think that's probably a little bit underrated. I did see some commentary this week. I don't know, they're Lordy from Darren, good point. But there's, Jesus, fuck, I hate when it's just me. I'm trying to think of they all get dressed up in Gwar. Gwar is the one I'm thinking of. So that's another one as well. When they go all out on it and they really dive into it, I think that's a bit underrated. I did see some commentary on Ghost where saying, the image is more important than the music. And for a band like Ghost, that's definitely not the case. I know that there's a bit of a gimmick with the Satanism and all that sort of stuff. And people go, but musically, they're rock solid. But I think that on top of that, if you've got a good image that stands out, I think that can be a benefit. And I think that's a little bit underappreciated these days. When it comes to having over-the-top individualized gimmicks, i.e. those big old headphones and that, I think that when you look at the stage and you've got every individual, I'm all for individualism. I'm not trying to dispute that. But I think that when you go over the top with it, like I was saying, fucking massive headphones or whatever else, like things that are, if you're going to be yourself, be yourself. That's not something if it's not something you generally wear day to day, I think that's a bit silly. If you're going to go extreme, then go the realm of Rob Zombie, where everyone goes and gets dressed up. It's either go all in the whole group, or if it's just an individualized thing, they go over the top. I think that's a bit overrated personally. So it's a bit of a which way you look at it. Ultimately, it does come down to the music, and that's going to be what sells or gets your attention more than anything else, for me anyway. But I just think that, it can be a double-edged sword in a few different regards there. So let us know what you think of that out there. We'll get some thoughts here, which we've got a few different ones going back. There's a few different conversations happening now, so keep us going. DB's gone, can you please tell us more about the haunted house? We're going way off topic. I'll circle back around to this one in a second then for you all, okay? I will circle back to that. What else? Nicole has gone, Bruce Dickinson, Ivan Moody, and Eva Cassidy as singers. Good choices there. Andrew Marshall's gone top 3 vocalists. Robert Plant, Chris Cornell, Ian Gillan. Some nice ones there too. Viking Girl says, absolutely believe in ghosts. I know what I've seen. There we go. Sensory Sarah's gone, Freddie, great voice and frontman. Again, absolutely. But yeah, Darren said Lordy before, and I was talking about over-the-top gimmicks, and I think that works. Even Manowar. Even for Manowar, it works. Steel Panther is something you could throw in the mix as well. Nicole says, yes, ghosts are real. Mine open doors and lever windows and stuff. So that's, interesting stuff there too. Very cool. Like I said, I will circle back to the haunted house in a moment, which is not something I thought I'd talk about on the Hard Rock Show, but I'll get there. Sally says, the holy trinity of metal voices for me, Corey Taylor, Chris Cornell, and Miles Kennedy. Lizzie Hale is circling them closer. That's a good little list there too. Danny says, image is good, but it shouldn't override the music. Looking at Eugene, and there's a good case for that one there to be made. Yeah, Nicole's agreed. War, which is there. Cool. Sally says, ghosts are real without any doubt. I can hear them and I have photos of them. This is going over the top. Alrighty, Andrew says, when I first saw Arcane Saints several years ago, they were all wearing similar cheap grey polyester suits on stage. Thankfully, they gave that look up. I have the photos. I want to see those, mate, because that's, fuck. Wow, that'd be different. Vocalists again. Lee says, in their prime, Sebastian Bach, Lane Staley, and Ronnie James Dio. Yes, definitely, for sure. Viking Girl says yes to Sarah, saying absolutely Freddie's vocals. Rowan says, I haven't seen the headphones thing, but it sounds like a bit of branding. Branding is a fine line to walk, and if only one member of the band is participating, then it's not a good look, which does make it, a bit interesting. And he also says, but everyone is playing along and it's well handled. But if everyone is playing along and it's well handled, then it can really help stand out from the pack, which is cool. But Darren's added to that, I'm all for a specific image, even if it includes dressing up. Bands have to do something that is going to set them apart from the crowd. Sometimes the music isn't enough to get people's attention, and we are in a visual age, especially with the social media. Instagram is one of the biggest platforms, as is TikTok, the fastest growing one. So yes, visual does play a big part of this sort of stuff in this world now. And Rowan says, no on ghosts. Sorry, folks. That's all right. Danny says, atheists listen to pop and glam. Everything else is a lie to them. So there we go. Getting into the religious side of it all now. Alrighty, onto the haunted house quickly. I'll try and make this one short. It's a bit of a complicated story, but okay. There was a house I lived in many, many years ago, and it was interesting times growing up, and there was a lot of energy kicking around to play with if you get delving into this sort of stuff a bit. And so we had 3, and they appeared to be either a family, but it wasn't, I don't know, it was a weird connection. You couldn't make sure. There was one woman in the house who hovered around one section only. So there was one particular flight of stairs in this house that she would be at the top of or at the bottom of, and she had incredibly long curly hair, like, you know, like almost down to her waist, and she wore like an old school nightgown, and she was pretty much just a bit of the furniture. She had no real sort of vibe or sense about her. She was just there, a presence in the house. She was the most neutral of the 3. You didn't see her as often, but there was always a vibe at this particular section of the house, and never a threatening thing. She just sometimes come down and just sort of, you'd see out the corner of your eye when she was watching you when you're watching TV in the lounge room near that particular staircase, or she'd be at the top of the stairs just as you walked by, kind of thing. It was just a weird thing that happened now and then. Like I said, nothing menacing, nothing positive, nothing, just literally like walking past the furniture that would just move by itself sometimes. That's how it felt, that particular woman. There was also a young boy. Now, this is the one that I saw most clearly out of the 3. His energy was fun, playful, prankster, a bit of a smart ass all round. There was a particular time when one of my sisters was home, and she and her boyfriend were downstairs, and they were the only ones home, and they were watching, you know, some movie in the lounge room, at the same lounge room I was talking about before. And in the bedroom above, they heard this running across the floor, and there was a bed in the middle of the room. So they'd run across the floor, jump on the bed, then you'd hear them landing on the other side, and then run back and just keep going back and forth across the room, jumping on the bed as they were going across. So this massive sort of just back and forth. No one else was around. It was just them in the house, and they could hear it clear as day. Back to the woman shortly. Sorry, back to the woman. Before I forget, there was one time, though, when I was the only one home, and I could hear someone singing hymns throughout the house. It was a female voice. I thought my sisters were playing a prank on me at the time, but they were 2 doors up the street at a friend's house. I thought there was dead set that clear. I could have gotten something out and recorded it. It was that clear as day that a woman was singing hymns. I walked around the entire house trying to find it, and it would just sort of move. But there was this woman singing hymns for a good 5, 10, 15 minutes maybe. I don't know. It was a while. And it was full on, like you could hear it through the whole house. So that was when she really sort of jumped out of the pack a bit. And it was a bit of a weird vibe that night, but I don't know. That was the most standout thing that she ever did. The boy, he was a prankster. He'd do things. He'd knock things around and move stuff, all that kind of jazz, carrying on. But there was one time where I was reading, because I'm a bit of a bookworm, and I would read in my room. And in my particular room, there was only one way in. And the way I was reading, the book here, and you can see over the top of it said the only way in or out of the room. So I'm reading, but in the corner of my eye over here to my left, I just see this head pop around the corner, look at me, smile at me, and then duck back. Now, my little brother is a lot younger than me. He had this thing where he'd go through my wardrobe, start playing with old things I'd boxed up and stuff. So I thought my little brother had gotten in there and just started stirring shit up, because I only saw him briefly. He literally just looked at me, smiled, and walked back into the storage room that I had over there. And I've gone in there and there was no one there at all. But I saw him as clear as you're all seeing me right now. Like, it was the most visual thing I've seen of a ghost ever in my life. And he just looked at me, smiled, walked back. And like I said, I was convinced my brother had gone in. I got up going, "The fuck are you doing, you little shit?" And he's gone into my storage area, and there was nothing there. So that was the freakiest thing. But at the same time, this kid was terrified of the third spirit in the house, and this one's the nasty one. We had a nasty bugger in there as well, and he used to do all sorts of crazy shit. Like, there was an oil lamp got knocked over and set the carpet on fire, and there was no one near it. It was just and no windows were open, all that sort of stuff. It was all checked out. he would do, like, he would stand at the front of the house and he would claim that part as his domain. And he'd walk up and down the stairs and stalk people. He'd hover outside of bedroom doors and just sort of walk back and forth, and sort of, it was almost like the stalker, heavy breathing kind of effect, going back and forth outside of bedrooms. Didn't do it to me as much as he did to my sisters. He used to really freak out one sister in particular. It was a really nasty piece of work. You just go near him and it was a hugely awful vibe, to the point where I told a friend way back that, about this house and where I was living and stuff. And him and his partner were driving by and he knew where the house was, but she'd never been there before. And she had heard all the stories as well. And so he'd been there and he'd experienced some stuff, but she had never been there. And so they're driving by one day and he just thought, for a bit of shits and giggles, he'd take her past the house. And she's gone, hang on, stop the car. Is that the house? Like, from outside in the street in the car, she could pick up the vibe from the front of the house where this guy would sort of hang out, and just stopped there going, that's the house, isn't it? And it turned out that it was, yes, our house we lived in. So there's a few different things there going on as well. There's a lot more I could go into. I'm not going to spend all night on it, but there you go. There's a bit of a different story going on with the Hard Rock Show story time here tonight when it comes to living in a haunted house. It's gone back quite some time ago, but yes, this was there was a lot going on way back then. So, Michael, back to the costume stuff. I'm going to completely change gears again. Dr. Colossus dressed up as the Simpsons characters, Stonecutters, and even entered the venue with a bit of theatrics, but it doesn't take away from the great music, and that is a great point there too. Thanks for sharing that one, Michael. I haven't seen the band live, but yes. Gear, good to see you again from over in Norway, and Viking Queen will come out with a new song next week, and the song title is We Are United. We have an international artist worldwide with us, and this song is for the people of Ukraine. Cool. For a project called We for Metal United International, and this song will come out worldwide. Awesome. Keep us in the loop. Make sure you send us an email or something as well, so I don't miss it. But yeah, if you haven't sent us an email, then next week when we stream, let us know. Share it in the comments. Something else, Gear. Happy to hear that one. Please do let us know more. BP's gone, damn, what was the address of the house? It's an old house in the basin. I'm not sure what it's like these days, but yeah, it was a full-on experience. Nicole's gone, an apparition. Ooh, yes, we had fucking 3 of the bastards. Sensory Sarah, Viking Girl, they're going back and forth with love in the comments. But Sarah's also said, really like Ghost's new one, Call Me Little Sunshine. That is a great track on the album. The whole album is fantastic as far as I'm concerned. Okay, Michael's also shared in the Facebook comments just a bit of something about the Gasometer Hotel. I think it might be is that a photo reel from you, Michael? Just confirm that for me. I think in Facebook comments, he might have shared a bunch of photos he's taken of Dr. Colossus playing live, which is awesome. And Viking Girl's gone, loving the story time. Something different. I guess if it's just me here, I may as well. But yeah, there's something a bit out there for you all as well. So take a random hard right turn, going into ghost time. Still, like, need the campfire going. That's what we need tonight. But we'll see how we go with that next time around. Alrighty. Okay, cool. Michael's confirmed. Yes, it's my gallery from Dr. Colossus. I'm sorry. The platform I use here to monitor all the different things going on, it's a bit of an interesting one there as well. So yeah, just I can't see the links. I can only see the actual text, which is where it gets a bit interesting. BP, can we have a street name at least? Yeah, you can have a street name. Carnarvon Avenue in the Basin. There you go. I'm not going to give out the number because there are people living there. So I don't want to go and intrude on their privacy. But yeah, Carnarvon Avenue in the Basin. Go and have a look at that if you feel like chasing it down. But we haven't lived there for quite some time. But yeah, that was what it was like for us when we were living there. Many, and it wasn't just me. My sisters, my brother, all had different experiences. Some better, some worse. So there you go. If you're into that sort of stuff, go and drive down Carnarvon Avenue in the Basin, see if you can pick it out. Looks different to the way it used to though. So I don't know how it'll go. Going back to a question there from Gear. Oh, hang on. Where are we going? Sorry. Fuck. Now I can't find what I'm looking for. All right. Sorry. Bear with me. Sorry. I'm just trying to track down my email because Gear has asked for the email address. So I'm just going to copy. There we go. So Gear, I don't know if I can't directly reply to you, but in the Facebook comments, I'm putting our email address now, media@thehardrockshow.com. It's in the comments now, so that's the one to go and send things out to as well. Alrighty, so Gaz over on YouTube, good to see you. Virtual 11, best album ever. So there we go. Get some different, I've done another poll. We could do best singers. best favorite bands and now best albums. So there's 3 we could do an audience poll on as it is. But yeah, all-time ones are a tough one. You can do those every year and get a different result. But there's a good choice there. Nice one there, Gaz. Thanks for sharing. Andy's gone, just joined in, but if you're talking about ghosts, they're not my thing, but someone posted a live video in the THRS lounge page, and wow, that's something else live. Yes, they are. Now, this is a band that even if you don't get sold on the record, seeing them live is a different experience when it comes to ghosts. We weren't exclusively talking about the band. It's been sort of a weird segue tonight. We've talked into or gone into me living in a haunted house and giving some story time on the things that used to happen in that house. But generally speaking, there has been chatter about ghosts while having this going on. And yes, they are definitely a phenomenal thing to see live. So please do check that out. What else we got here? So Viking Girl says, I've quite happily lived with one particular ghost in my place for over 15 years. Did have one really nasty presence too. Had that one. So yes, the nasty ones aren't fun. Depends on how you want to get esoteric and stuff, then yes, but or philosophical. Depends on how you approach things as to how much it impacts you. It didn't bother me so much because I just knew, I don't know, self-security, I guess. I don't know. Not in a, I don't know how to put it now. It's just you do some research and you learn about energy and all that sort of stuff, and you learn how to use things just for your own internal sake. Just, I don't know, fucking weird new age hippie shit. I'm not going to go too far into it, but yeah, there you go. But yes, if you have that experience, but my sisters didn't have the same sort of confidence to address things for themselves, so it didn't quite go as well for them. She's replied, had that one moved on, fuck, finally got it out. Yeah, when they don't want to go, it's a challenge, and I'm not sure about that guy. I don't know if he's still there, but there was an interesting one there too. Gaz says, Iron Maiden are the best band ever. So there's some good ones there. Another good choice for the best band of all time. Conrad, good to see you, buddy. He's going, are you coming to see Barbarian on Friday night at the Westwood in Footscray? They are playing a matinee show on Saturday. Children welcome for that show. Another Facebook event is linked in the Facebook comments there as well. I won't be able to make it this weekend. I've got things on. I've got a family member's birthday this weekend, so I won't be able to do it. But hopefully, if anyone else out there wants to go and do so, go and check out Barbarian because they're a fun band. And go and check them out at the Westwood in Footscray. That would be a great gig. So go and check them out because they are a lot of fun. Their music is fantastic too. Speaking of the gimmicky bands, they do fall into that category, but they do it very, very well. Nicole says, see, it's not just me that says that about Ghost. I feel better now. You're not alone, but definitely a band that if you see them live, they will change your world, I believe. Anyway, alrighty. Got a few reviews to get through. So far, I'm on track to be on about the usual amount of time when it's just me doing the show, which is fucking something else. I told you I can talk a lot. That's why I talk fast. So in the comments, in the description box, find the link for a band called Gutterfire, and the song is Bonfire. Yeah, I know. But it's literally like a few days old, this video now. So it's band is Gutterfire, song is Bonfire. That is your reference track for the first review tonight. I'll take another drink there shortly. So this is our first review of the evening. This is Gutterfire with Chill. 10 tracks, 47 minutes, the debut album from the Brisbane band after a run of singles. Released originally in September 2021, but now has a label re-release in March 2022 via Wormhole Death. Produced by Brock Weston, mastered by Michael Lynch. 2 singles have been released in I'll Be Along and the title track as well. Described as an upbeat doom or Armageddon rock band, they've been doing quite a few good shows, tours with Electric Mary and other bands as well, since starting out in 2018, if I'm correct. So a big thank you to the label for sending this one through to us as well. Now, when it comes to this sort of stuff, if you like it dark and gloomy, you're going to enjoy this one a lot. There's all the hallmarks of your typical sort of doom and stoner rock. The opening track feels like coming home if you're a fan of that particular genre overall. But that said, there's a lot more to this than you'll expect as well. This isn't just a typical album from the genre. There's certainly some solo stuff, and if you're a fan of Queens of the Stone Age, for example, you're going to really enjoy this one. But there's also some more upbeat and diverse layers to this than you probably are going to expect, which makes it really interesting and adds some contrast to the album. Some really cool use of hooks in the vocals, but also the riffs in these songs, along with those hooks, have a really good knack for staying with you and getting stuck in your head. The storytelling being told lyrically and in the vocals aids that impact as well. So generally speaking, this is one of those ones where it's a lot more memorable than you might expect when it comes to this style of music, especially if you're not even a big connoisseur. I listen to it, but I'm not a huge... there are other people in the show that listen to a lot more of this genre than I do, but for me, this is really engaging right from the start, and it just doesn't let you go. A lot of songs just get stuck in your head really, really comfortably. There's some great energy on this, some great groove as well. The swing in the rhythm section and the riffs is really nicely done. And the production overall has that, fuzzy touch you expect from the style. But there's also some really nice use of space and some neat panning done on this in the composition and the production. They use that space really, really well, and the panning sort of aids things to not make this, because a lot of the style or this sort of music, it tends to come across as pretty dense. A big sound wall sort of effect goes onto it. This one has a really good use of space and allows you to really hear everything clearly as well. There's some little attention to detail moments. There's some hard left panning on the little guitar lick in I'll Be Along, for example. None of this is jarring or meant to be attention grabbing. It's all very, very subtle, but that subtlety serves these songs really, really well. There's also some great use of harmony on this one too. The layering on that part is really well done, and as is the whole listen overall. There's really a lot of layers to this, and it's really well done. There's nice push and pull here. The focus points are done just right, so everything gets to sort of come up and come back really nicely in these songs, and it's just a really good solid mix that helps this whole band and this album stand out from the pack in a big way. Got some good changes of pace on this one. Some stronger use of the melody work sort of keep the album moving. The Day the Justice Died is a nice sort of midpoint song that sort of shifts the gears nicely on the record. And Recovery follows that really nicely. And it's a track you'll get the impression, listen to it, that'll be a lot of fun to listen to this one live, or see that track played live, I should say. Great energy. There's a really cool fun vibe to it, which is, again, you got the dark and stoner kind of stuff going on, or doom rock, but you've also got these really upbeat, fun sort of moments in there as well, which makes this thing really engaging and takes you for a bit of a journey on the listen. It's got an almost sort of alt rock touch to that track, Recovery. The closing track, Eyes Up, is a standout on this one for me as well. That's a really good way to close out the record. Finishes up on a really upbeat note too, which, if you go back to the start, it, bookends the album nicely between a darker, slower start and more upbeat one at the end. And the whole album is just really well put together. It's got great songs, great performances. It's a really solid mix. There's more to this than just stoner or doom rock, which I've said a few times now. But it's pretty much for fans of anything sort of hard rock related, this is worth checking out. There's probably going to be something on this album for pretty much anyone. I've seen some comment here saying not for me, but it may not be. But I think that I think a lot of people will probably enjoy this one a lot more than you might expect when you read up on the band. It's one of those ones where actually listen to it. Don't just read the description, because there's a lot more going on to this than you might expect. But I enjoyed it. If you like the singles on this one, then you will enjoy this album, because those singles are the stronger points on this one for me. So 8 out of 10. Eyes Up, I'll Be Along, and Chill. I'll Be Along and Chill were the two singles. So go and check those out. If you like those, you'll like the album. If you don't like those, you won't like the album. That's pretty much the best way to put it. Dean says, I've got to check this out, which is very, very cool. Hope you enjoy it. And but on the flip side is that Danny says, sorry, bro, not for me at all. So I don't know. There we go in that space. It is one of those ones where it might be a bit of a toss of the coin, but I do believe it will probably grab more people than it loses as things go along. Gaz has asked the question, do you like the band Death? Now, I haven't been a huge connoisseur of that. And it depends which, if I'm correct, I think there's a couple of different versions of the band as well. You got the old school punk one, and then you got the other one. So there's a few ones out there. It depends which one you're going for as well. But whichever way you want to look at it, I haven't really dived too deep. But what I have heard, I have enjoyed. So that's one of the things there. That's one of those bands that everyone's got that list of, I've got the list anyway. Everyone's got a list of bands that you got to get to at some point. You've got to get to it. But because of what we do here, when we listen to sort of, 400 plus albums a year, you never really get time until you actually sort of slot it in as being part of what you're doing, or what I'm doing for this anyway. So it's a little bit harder to go and explore things, because if I'm not doing stuff for the show, I'd try and take some time out and just listen to something I just old school, love to enjoy it, and then go deep diving on new music again. So I do eventually plan to get around to all these things. Whether I've got enough years left, I don't know, but I'm going to try and get there anyway. But that's one of those bands that I'd like to get to, definitely. Andrew says, not my cup of tea when it comes to Gutterfire, but maybe because I'm an atheist. Referring back to a previous comment. Nicely played. Good comment there, sir. That is very, very cool. There we go. Nicole's gone, that must be my problem too, Andrew. Yeah, there's a lot of music going on out there. It's just how it works, unfortunately. But Gaz has gone back and sort of only recently got into death metal. Some brilliant stuff out there. Death, Massacre, Cannibal Corpse, fucking great stuff. You are going to enjoy what Tim does on the show, because that is his wheelhouse for sure. Cannibal Corpse is one of his favorite bands, I reckon. But yeah, we're getting into it. We do explore that sort of stuff, so it's a bit of fun there as well. And Danny's had a bit of a chuckle there at the comments too. So there we go. But Man Family over on YouTube, awesome. They've gone top 3 bands. Australian, The Angels, The Oils, Divinals. He's gone and broken it up by region. So, okay, cool. UK, The Clash, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath. US, Audioslave, Soundgarden, De La Soul. Seriously depends on mood and activity, though. That's a really comprehensive list. Well done. Thank you for sharing that. Nicole said, never got past Leprosy that I love. So there we go. There we go. Back to the death band there as well. I think from memory. Fuck, if I'm wrong, then correct me because I'm all over the joint tonight. Alrighty. While we continue moving on, I'm going to quickly take a sip and then I'll move on to the next review. This is fucking weird, but all right. Sorry for the dead air. It's a bit weird, but we will push on through. Alrighty. Next up is a fun little EP. In the comments, in the description box, you're going to hear, or the band is the L.I.F.E Project, and L.I.F.E is all spelled with L-I-F-E with full stops in between. So the L.I.F.E Project. The reference track is Caught in a Mosh. And yes, that is the cover. So this is our next review tonight. This is the L.I.F.E Project with the EP called Big Four. It's 4 tracks for 21 minutes. The second EP from this duo of Stone Sour guitarist Josh Rand and Paralandra vocalist Cassandra Carson. Released March 2022 independently and via Blood Blast distribution. I believe this was produced by Josh and or the pair of them together. One single has been officially released in Caught in a Mosh, though all the tracks are available on YouTube, for example. They released their debut EP, which was original material back in 2021, the middle of the year. I really enjoyed that one, so I wanted to go back and check this one as well. This is a bit of this particular EP, though, this covers EP, is a passion project of Josh because he wanted to go back and do iconic tracks one iconic track from each of the big 4 thrash bands. You know, so you got your Slayer, Anthrax, Megadeth, and Metallica. One song from each of those is a cover in this one, or is being done as a cover on this one as well. So for reference, you got South of Heaven from Slayer, Caught in a Mosh from Anthrax, Symphony of Destruction from Megadeth, and One from Metallica. This is an interesting little release, but it's a passion project and something that's a bit different. So I wanted to give this one some time this week. And then Nicole has confirmed that I was correct. Okay, cool. Thank you for confirming. Otherwise, that'll bug me forever. But we'll get on to this EP now. So again, reference track is there. The L.I.F.E Project, Caught in the Mosh to give you a taste. But for me, this is a ballsy fucking EP. These are fan favorite tracks they've picked. You know that this is one of those ones where when it comes to the online world, you know the audience is going to come for you. No matter how good a job you do, they're going to come for you. But if you fuck up, you're really going to hear about it nonstop. So, you know, you'll always get shitty opinions. But this one in particular with the songs they've chosen, I think they really put it on the line. And so I think Ballsy Choice deserves a lot of credit for the way they've done things with this. But for me, I think it's great song choices and they've smoked them. It's pretty fucking faithful to the originals, but there's definitely a little twist to this, which I'll get to, which makes it all their own. I love the tones and they shift from song to song. They've gone pretty damn close to the original tonally as well. They've obviously got modern production, so you're not going to get, you know, a lack of bass in One, for example, but they've gone pretty close with things like guitar tone and that. So there is definite sonic shifts from song to song, which really does lean into the cover aspect of this going on too. Great mix. Everything is really crystal clear on this one. And Cassandra sounds amazing. She is a fucking powerhouse vocalist. And the harmonies on this are absolutely stunning. We're going to be talking a lot about those harmonies as this review goes on. That is what makes this one stand out in particular. You've got great energy and performances in this one. Nothing to really add on the arrangement side of things aside from, you know, the vocal. The vocals are different because you've got a female vocal, which is going to be tonally different to the male stuff as well. But the way she delivers her vocal is stunningly good. The harmonies create or recreate the gang vocal effect. So where you had, you know, big gang vocals before on the original tracks, they've now got harmonized vocals, which do a fantastic job of really filling things out and making that twist, like I was saying before, that gives this band their own take on it. That's also provides the bite. Like, you don't have, you know, the pure male testosterone aggression going on, because that's very hard to replicate unless, you know, Alyssa Weiss Glue is doing it. Fuck it, you know what I'm talking about. Alyssa White Glue, there we go. But this one, the harmonizing aspect really does give this one some grunts, some bites, some real nastiness to it. But it sounds beautiful at the same time. It's a really unique thing they've done with just the note choices. It's very intelligent, Very clever. I really did appreciate what they did with it as well. The guitar parts are fucking nailed, which is not really a surprise. Josh is a great guitarist, so you should expect no less. The rhythm pumps on this one. It's one of those ones where, you know, if you're in the mood for a good cover session, this one makes you smile. It's fun. I'm really curious as to how the diehards will respond to this one overall, but I've seen a lot of positive feedback on it so far, so I'm hoping this is resonating with people the same way it resonates with me, because I really did enjoy this one. It's a fun little listen. 20 minutes. It's a great little EP. But the flip side too is that it also shows just how good these songs are in the original form. The way this is put together really accents that. It shows you that if you're a talented enough artist to play these songs and play them well, that the songs themselves will stand up for pretty much anyone. So they something about the way they've done it really showcases just how good the songs are in and of themselves. And if you've got the right talent, fuck, it just goes off. And this is what has been done with this little EP. These songs took the test on with good reason. This helps prove that. And Cassandra's tone and gravel, when she wants to use that, is just wow. And her cleaner stuff on the flip side is just as good. I know I bang on about it, but the harmonies on one in particular are fucking brilliant. The harmonies, like I was saying, that is, I told you I was going to bang on about that, but that is just wow. It's amazing to listen to it. The original EP they did last year was great. This is fucking cool as well. They haven't put a foot wrong for me so far, so I'm really hoping we get a lot more out of this pairing, because I know they're both busy doing whatever they do, but these two working together is fucking fantastic. So I really, really enjoyed this one. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10. It's hard to pick favorites, so it's always going to be one of those things, but I enjoyed probably most of all in this one, Symphony of Destruction and One. But again, depending on your mood, all 4 tracks are fucking fantastic. Not a dud moment on this at all. Well worth a listen. So if you hear one covers EP this year, definitely check this one out. This is the one you should spend some time on. I'm getting a few comments on this one too, which is nice. I'll go back a little bit. Bear with me. All right, so Lee says, feels kind of weird hearing Cassandra singing these thrash anthems, but I like it a lot, which is cool. Nice. Going back to the 3 bands thing, Dean says Beatles, AC/DC, The Angels, but influenced by so many bands, hard to pick 3, but those come to mind right now, which is good. Thank you for sharing those ones as well. Danny says, what a gnarly bass tone. This is a kick-ass version. Yes, the bass tone on Court and Mosh is fucking great. Gaz says, Hello H is Slayer's best album. That's another audience poll we can do at some point as well. What's the best Slayer album? Here we go. Nicole says, not sure about this one. I love Anthrax. Cassandra's vocals are amazing, though. Check out the rest of the EP. Please check out the rest of the EP before you make up your mind on it, though. I love South of Heaven as a favorite for Slayer. So there we go. Got some different comments going back and forth on Slayer's catalog now. Andrew says, the L.I.F.E project is definitely my cup of tea. Really enjoyed this one. Great. We're going to give you, something for everyone. So we're going to take a big gear change in a second too. Sally says, yes, it's my sort of metal. It hammers. Good stuff. All right. Gaz says, did anyone like Senjutsu? And this is going to be a conversation that goes back and forth. Yeah. Nicole says, yes, Gaz, I love it, which Gaz replied, good woman. So there we go there. Danny says, Senjutsu is awesome, and Nico's 70 on all. Okay. I think, okay. I'm not sure that little bit. But yeah, anyway, Nicole says it's been said of me before, guys. So there we go. They're going back and forth. All right, cool. And then Nicole's saying she will check out the EP, so please do. But yes, when it came to Senjutsu, it did get a bit of a mixed review from us as well, but I can understand equally in both contexts why people like it and why people don't like it. I enjoyed it, though, for the record. I thought it was a pretty bloody good album overall. It was nice to get some differences, too, with some different tracks on that one. But we haven't done our top 10s yet. We are getting to that. I'll make sure that all comes through. But I don't think it'll be in my top 10 for the year. I could be wrong, but I don't think it will be. It's one of those albums that was good. It'll be in a top 20, but it wouldn't be a top 10 album kind of a thing. Alrighty. Now, like I said, we are going to change gears like we always do. And we're going to move on to the latest from UK band FM. It's just literally FM. If you know this band, you'll know who I'm talking about. If you don't, just find FM, and it's FM UK sometimes. I'll get to that in a second. But the new or the latest video I've chosen, no, not even the latest one. I should be fair here. I've chosen one that I think will best represent the album overall out of the videos and singles they've released. So this is FM, Turn This Car Around is the reference track for you. It's in the comments. It's in the destruction. I'm reading comments while I'm talking. It's weird. It's in the description box as well. So there we go. Before I do jump into that, Danny says, sorry, Nico is 70 years old and still smashing the kid. Yes, yes, I thought that might be the case, but I didn't want to jump the gun what you're saying there. But yes, definitely he's still fucking kicking ass and taking names. And Gaz says Senjutsu was great. Book of Souls is great for the insomnia. Low. Okay, so depends. There you go. I like Book of Souls, but I also liked The Final Frontier too. So it depends on what you're after. But but at the same time, you're going to go back to all-time favorites. One of my all-time favorites from Iron Maiden is probably Brave New World or Peace of Mind for me personally, but it is what it is. All right, but back onto new stuff. FM, Turn This Car Around is your reference track. So the band is FM. Reference track is Turn This Car Around, and the album is called 13. I'll quickly back onto Iron Maiden. Lee's gone. The number of the beast is 40 this week. Yes, it is. So I guess for a bit of fun, we should do something on social in that regard. But while you're here, let us know what your favorite track from Number of the Beast is if you feel like tuning in and letting us know what your thoughts are there as well. All righty. I'll take a quick drink. All righty. So next review, got one more after this. FM 13, 11 tracks, 54 minutes, the 13th studio album of the UK band, released March 2022 via Frontiers Records. Produced by the band, 2 singles have been released in Waiting on Love and Turn This Car Around. These guys have been making a name for themselves in the melodic rock world since 1984. We've covered a few of their releases on the show in the past. They reunited in 2007, so it's been since then, obviously, been talking about them. Generally, they've gone well, but let's see how this one goes. And a big thank you to Frontiers for sending it into us. Now, it's odd to say those things because I wrote those notes and then it's just me doing it. So it's just a fucking weird one. As it is, but I'll get to. I've got some comments. TC's here as well, so good to see. I'll read your comment out soon. But when it comes to this sort of music, it's a very populated world musically, this kind of stuff. But at the same time, when it's done very, very well, it's phenomenal stuff to listen to. This album is a really solid release, and when you hear things like melodic rock and with the classic rock edge, it much more leans into the classic rock side of things as well. It fits very firmly to those areas, both of them, but like I said, it leans more to the classic rock side than the pure melodic rock side. If you like that, then you're going to enjoy this one. If it doesn't, this will do nothing to change your mind. But like I said, this is done very, very well. It's very well executed. They're exceptionally good at what they do. There are a couple little signs of age just in some sort of lyrical matters and just a bit of a creep here and there with it, like they've used the mix to sort of just push the vocals back a touch and wet them with the reverb. And it's a very, very small thing, but it just makes things a little more smooth overall. And like if you're not paying attention, you won't notice it. It's just me being a production buff that picks up things like that. But these guys are still turning out great songs. They write good albums. They write good songs. They put in good performances. They just know what they're doing. This is a case of veterans doing what they do very, very well. It's all built around melody. This has that and hooks for days on this one as well. And while this is one of those ones that isn't an overly... You still get your romance stuff on there. It always happens with this style of music, but it's not an overly romantic release. And the synth, whilst on the first track, the synth's pretty heavy. Across the album, it goes back and forth nicely to suit the song. So it's always there, but it's never really overpowering, which is cool. What else have I got in here? So, the synth is not an overbearing thing on this one. You do have your expected heartfelt moments, which you get from the genre, but it's loaded with melody, and the harmonies in this one are fantastically done. Really lovely to listen to. None of this doesn't suffer from the cheese factor that a lot of the other stuff comes with in this genre. This is just really good songs told really well, and the vocals are fantastic. There's some great guitar work in this one. All the songs are written to allow all the different elements in this band to shine. So you got the bass, the drums, the keys, the vocals, the guitars. They all get their chance. They all do a really good job, and they all get to come through to the front. It'd be actually really entertaining to watch this one live. It wouldn't be a burn the fucking room down kind of a gig, but it would just be really riveting to watch good musicians do what they do very, very well. It's one of those kind of shows. Now, like I said, veterans do what they do very, very well. These songs all move together and work together nicely to create a really nice flow to the album. It's the longest review or longest album for this week that we're reviewing. But it's easy to repeat spin. Time flies listening to it. And it's just one of those ones that, because it's so, like, the tones overall are really it's a bit brighter, which allows this one to sort of breathe more. And it just is really pleasant to listen to, which is important for this style of music. Like I was saying, great tones, great balance, and I love how it's all layered. It's crystal clear, everything going on. There's even things like an acoustic guitar and this and that sits just perfectly in the mix as well. Like, they've paid a lot of attention to detail while someone's setting off fireworks. I guess someone's a big fan. like I said, it's a slightly brighter mix, but it's also really warm. Like that acoustic guitar touch mixed in there really does add to the warmth and bring those tones, like the mid tones, the bottom end, to really sort of fill it out a bit more. So it's not overly bright. It's just a slightly bright mix. But that, again, like I said, allows us to breathe nicely, makes the vocals shine more. But when this does use the grunt, it really kicks in nicely on this one. And it does really feel like the bottom end just drives. It's a good little gear change when they do that. Some great groove on this. Love and War is a great example track. So if they had a video example for Love and War, that would probably be the track I would say. If you're going to listen to one song, listen to that one. If you like that one, you'll check out the album. If you don't like that one, it's not going to do anything for you. That'd be the song I'd pick for that. But Long Road Home which is another single that's out there. They got a video for that one. That's a perfect mid-album ballad. Nothing here overall is too pacey, but they do have nice gear changes across the board with tempo shifts. And the vocals move from song to song and really, they don't change style, but the way they perform, the emotive context and all sorts of stuff is delivered with those songs is really well done. And I just think it's, Steve Overland for this style of music is one of the better vocalists by far. So I think he's hard to go past for what he does. He's brilliant at what he does here. Classic rock track in Be Lucky. It's just it's a classic, play on the words there as well. But the pulse of that song makes it a fun, upbeat listen. It'd be great. It'd be one of those ones where you'd see the dance floor, moving. It wouldn't be a mosh pit. It'd be a bit of a dance floor at the front kind of thing. It'd be just a fun thing to go and see that one done well. Again, it's a bit of feel good stuff, but it's really well done, and it all wraps up nice with the last couple of tracks as well. All in all, this is a game for those that like classic and or melodic rock. This is a really smooth listen. I enjoyed it a lot. If you're a fan of this band or this genre, this should make you very, very happy. Again, if not, it won't change your mind, but it's still worth checking out just if you're curious because, again, when people are good at what they do, it stands out, and this is one of those albums for sure. So I enjoyed this one. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Love and War, Be Lucky, and Shaking the Tree were my standouts on this one. Now, in case you're wondering, I do give higher scores because I tend to pick them. So it's easy for me to give higher scores. That's unfortunately the case that no one else is here. So it just is what it is in that regard. I'm sure that that'll get some different opinions across the board from other people. But like I said, it's just me tonight. So you're going to put up with it from just me. Alrighty. What do we got? I'm going to go a few comments here too. Cool. Alrighty. Wow. Okay. Here we go. Oh, my God. Steve's vocals kicked to the curb. So there we go. Some more love for that one there. Rowan says FM sounds a bit AOR. There is a touch of that in here. So if you're not into that style, it probably won't do a lot for you, but it is definitely there. But I think it still leans into the classic rock side. As an overall listen to the album, it leans more into classic rock than AOR. For me personally, but it's all very subjective anyway. So, take your pick, make of that what you will. Goes back onto Iron Maiden for a second. Goes 22 Acacia Avenue. Great song. There we go. Here's TC's comment. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're keeping well. I know you're flat out as well. Like I said, everyone's flat out this week, and I just didn't want to push this off and wanted to do something with it. So Tim says, hi, mate. Spewing couldn't get organised to this review. I'm a huge FM fan. Their first two albums are absolute classics. This one is a big improvement on their last album. Steve Overland is one of the best melodic rock singers ever and still sounds great. So there's not just me. One of our family here, Tim, he loves the album as well. So there we go. So Tim, if you're still here, give us like a quick score on some favorite tracks people should check out if you're still with us in the comments. BP, back onto the BP. Been reading up on the bass in the 19th and 20th century. There's lots of history. Yes, it's a very interesting place. Lots to go through in that area. Okay, Nicole says, geez, they're getting on in the years. A bit of production magic is slightly needed, and like I said, it's only slight, but it works well for them. Danny says, haven't heard of FM and I like it. Brilliant melodies and the band's vocals are great. Love good harmonies from a band. There we go too. It's one of those bands, FM, even though they're 13 albums deep, they just seem to have snuck under the radar for a lot of people, I think, and it's just the way it works. Here we go. Gaz has gone, Lemmy is God. You're not going to get any argument from me at all. I will completely agree with that. Nicole says, you got fireworks. I have F-18s and a stealth bomber zooming around above me. So there we go. I am in a flight path. I haven't had any planes tonight. I got ambulance something on out there as well. We get a lot of ambulances and police and fire across the main road out there. We're one of those main paths. But yeah, fireworks for some reason. I don't know why tonight, but yeah, they were doing that. Nicole says, FM are equal to the Eagles in my eyes. Love them both. That's a fair comparison. Wow. That's high praise. Nicely done. Because I know that's not the most hard rock thing out there, but I'm a big fan of the Eagles too. So yeah, if you like the Eagles, probably a good one there as well. Gaz has gone, lol. Nicole, he's got fireworks and I have a hangover. Well, better you than me because I've got to go to work tomorrow. So I'm glad it's not me that I've got the hangover today. All right, Dean says another album I need to check out. Yes, I think you'd enjoy this one too, buddy. But TC says, still filthy they didn't finally get to Australia due to the melodic rock fuck fest. Yes, that was a bit of a disaster. They were one to be or one of the draws for that event. And when they pulled out, things started to really go off the rails. But yeah, definitely, that would have been a band to see live. This album would have been, I think, Tim, if they tour this album, would want to go and see. This album would be a lot of fun to see live, I reckon. But that's if you're a fan of the genre. If you're not, it's probably not going to do a lot for you. So, take that with a grain of salt. Alrighty, Dean, I know you're here. Tim, like I was saying, if you do have a minute, give us like a quick score and your sort of top 3 tracks on the album. But I know Dean's been waiting all night for this one, so I'm going to move on to our final review of the evening, which is a classic release from Airbourne. But quickly, Andrew said, yeah, FM snuck under my radar, but we'll be checking out their back catalogue. Cool. Not all of it's absolutely stunning. I don't think any of it's bad, but not all of it's stunning. But they're pretty bloody solid and consistent all the way through. And Tim says the first albums are fantastic. So there's some stuff there to go back through. Definitely. It is a band that is worth checking out the back catalogue for sure. Maybe eventually it'll be one of those bands we might try and do a special on one day, but we're always flat out. So we'll see what happens in that regard. Alrighty. One more review tonight, and then I'll be doing a bin, wrapping up and getting out of here, and we'll move on. But the next one is your reference track. This is a classic from the mighty Aussie band Airbourne. The reference track is Running Wild, which is in the comments now. It's in the description box as well, and it's also the title of the album we're going to close out the show with tonight. So this is our classic review for the week. This is Airbourne with Running Wild, 11 tracks, 38 minutes. The debut album from the Australian band released June 2007 by Capitol and Roadrunner. Produced by Bob Marlette at Blue Moon Studios and Henson Studios in California. 3 singles were released, including Too Much, Too Young, Too Fast, and the title track. The album peaked number 106 in the US, number 62 in the UK, number 21 here in Australia, along with a handful of another top 100 across Europe and New Zealand as well, with a lot of those sort of rankings being where they debuted on the charts at the time. It's been certified silver in the UK, has moved over 250,000 units so far. It won a Metal Hammer Golden Gods Award for Best Debut in 2008. And a lot of this album has been used across things like gaming, sports, wrestling events. It's been widely used in, sort of pop culture, I guess, for lack of a better term there, when it comes to this, what fits this style of music. So this one is this week's Patreon choice review. So basically every week we get the patrons that support us via Patreon to vote, and it all aggregates and accumulates over time. So if you want to get involved in that, no matter what tier you decide to join up with, you can check out our Patreon page. The link is in the comments. It's also in the description box. And just sign up any tier you like, and you'll be able to vote on what we do as a classic album every single week. There's a big list to get through, so there we go. Dean's already got the stats coming through on this one as well. But quickly back onto FM for a second. TC's gone 8.5 out of 10. Nice. Shaking the Tree, Talk Is Cheap, and Turn This Car Around standouts. Nice. Cool. I love that they're different choices to me as well, which is fantastic. That is awesome. Cool. Thanks for sharing that, Tim. Really do appreciate it. All right, so Dean, I'm going to go back to all right, I'm going to go back to your comments in a second. We're going to get through my review, then I'll go through the comments here. Now, I'm not going to say too much about this one. If you know the band, you know what you're getting. If you don't know it, then just fucking listen to it. This is a really, really fun album with a hell of a lot of energy to it. Right from the start, you know exactly what you're in for. This one is just fucking from the minute it kicks off, just fucking bang and you're away. And it's just, just under 40 minutes of just adrenaline-fueled fucking rock and roll. This is all about the party. It's a lot of fun. It just goes hard and fast all the way through. No fucking ballads on this thing. But the energy and the edge in the songs is really well matched by the mix. This one just really bursts out of the speakers when you listen to it. Everything is really clear, even with the grunt and the grit on this one too. This album's turning 15 years old this year, and it still sounds great. If anything, I think it's probably aging better than it might have felt at the beginning when it came out. Excuse me. There's just enough sort of tempo and groove change on this one. The AC/DC comparisons, which came out and still do get lumped with the band, are understandable. But at the same time, there's a lot more to this than just that. And I think that actually, for me, the AC/DC stuff when it comes to this band, I find personally that I hear less and less of it the more time I spend with them. I think I've reviewed pretty much now all their albums at some point or another over the years. And this band, I think for the casual listen, I get it. But if you actually listen to it properly, I think they do wear the influence on their sleeve. That won't be denied. But at the same time, they are definitely their own band, their own sound, their own style. They do have their own edge. And I think it's more about the stories, the bite to it, the edge, the attack on the instruments, the way they play. There's definitely their own sound and style, which I think is a little bit overlooked because of the general commentary. And I would like to see this album, going back to it now, all these years later. I think, if anything, that's actually highlighted for me more than it was back at the time when it came out. So this is a band that I've come to appreciate more and more over the years. And this debut album is one of those ones that just stands out and really does sort of show you that this is one of the ones that's closer to the influence, obviously, being the first one. But at the same time, you hear where they're going to go differently over the years. And they have changed a little bit over the years as well. Nothing dramatic, but they've definitely got some growth over the years if you go through the catalogue. There's great riffs, great rhythm on this, as you expect. The solos are fantastic. Joel's voice just cuts through this mix like a fucking buzzsaw, and in that trademark sound and style they've got, which I think is fantastic. Personally, I love the way he cuts through the mix. And live, it really works too. So the thing about listening to this, if you've seen the band live and you've listened to the albums, they're pretty much of a muchness. And that's really cool because you get the energy, you get the fun, you got the bite, the attack, the style, it's not harsh, but there's a definite edge to it all. And that you get the same experience live as you do listen to it. And the energy is the one thing that, if anything, it's a little bit more intense live, but that doesn't make the albums diminished. It actually just, when you listen to the album, you still get the same kick in the pants that you put it on, you get the buzz, and you're away, and it's fantastic. When they settle into the groove and let the drums and bass drive things along, that one works really well. Fat City is a great example of that on this record in particular. But all in all, there's nothing complicated going on. It's just really, really well done. To me, there's enough in this for them to be their own thing, their own sound and style, while also, like I said before, wearing their influences on their sleeve. But this is for any fans of good old-fashioned Aussie hard rock or pub rock. Like I said, AC/DC is the driver back then, but at the same time, the attitude is all their own. You can hear more of that as the years go on, but I think you still pick up on it in this particular release as well. The gang vocals are fantastic on this. They really add to the bite on the whole thing overall too. And there's got to be something said for albums like this that, you just put it on, have some fun. It's one of those ones that makes you smile when you go back to it. It's well worth a spin or 10, depending on your fucking mood. It's so easy to repeat play to. It doesn't get tiring. And I think this one, for me, really hits the straps in the second half of the album, not the first half. The first half is good, but the second half just goes, okay, and takes up a peg for me. That's where it has me a little bit more, but this whole thing is a really solid album start to finish, and I just wish these guys were probably given... It's funny, because I think internationally they're much more highly regarded than what we give them here in Australia. It's time to sort of, put the cue in the rack and just acknowledge what these guys do, and they do it very, very well. So I'm a big fan. They're fantastic guys as well. I had a chance to interview them a little while ago, and they were fantastic at the time too. And nothing but love for these guys for me. So this album is good. I don't think it's their best work, but it's a solid album. So there's 8 out of 10. Cheap Wine and Cheap Women. Fuck, I love the groove in that one. That kicks off. Girls in Black and What's Eating You are my 3 standouts on this one. But yeah, again, if you like this style, and they're not the only band to play in this world either, just for the record. There's plenty of bands that have done this style of music. These guys are definitely one of the better ones out there at it. So there we go. Reckon it's well worth your time. But yeah, let us know what you think. Alrighty, so Dean has got all the goods. So I'm going to scroll through comments as we go through things, and we'll get through Dean's notes here as well. So Dean says, songs that was written at the band's house before going to a warehouse in the US to work on the remaining songs yet to be written were, okay, Stand Up for Rock and Roll, Runnin' Wild, Heartbreaker, and Girls in Black. Okay, cool. He's got all the deep cuts information here. He also says the album was going to be called Stand Up for Rock and Roll, but the label wanted it to be called Runnin' Wild due to the success of the single in Europe. Makes sense. Dean says the image of the band was made out the front of famous Pentridge Prison in Coburg. Yes, that's true. Nicole says, how bloody good is this band? I'm hoping we're going to get a lot of love for it, which is cool. Danny says, don't even need to watch it. I fucking love it. Too Much Too Fast is my top track. Nice choice there. Dean says, Cheap Wine and Cheap Women was named Making Love before the label saw lyrics and title and wanted it to be changed. It also had different lyrics and was changed dramatically. Okay, cool. Interesting. What here? I don't know, Dean, if there's like a recording of that with the different sort of lyrics. That'd be interesting to see if it's out there. He also says Heartbreaker was the first song they worked on in the studio, and Joel goes back to that song even now to how he sounded, which is cool. Very nice. The label Capitol Records, before going to Roadrunner Records, didn't want to use any of the songs I had on their EP Ready to Rock for the album, considering that's why they signed them, but had to write the remaining songs in a warehouse from scratch. Wow. they did go through a bit on this one. Dean says the whole duration was 6 months from going to the warehouse to work on the songs and record the album. Fucking hell, that's a lot of time. Jesus. All right. Well done to him for sticking with it. Nicole says, still have it blasting on my playlist daily. Nice choice there. Dean says, Bob Marlett, the producer, would keep checking on the band every 2 weeks to see what they would come up with, and had always had notes to work on this song or that song and leave them for another 2 weeks and check in again. That's consistent. That's probably not a bad way to do it too. Andrew says, Airbourne, 5 out of 5 horns from me. Nice. Got a lot of love there for the band too, which is cool. Dean says, Stand Up for Rock and Roll had a different intro to what is on the album, and Bob Marlett told him to make a better intro and a mission statement build-up. Okay, nice. I like hearing when a producer tells a band to go and do a better job, and when it works. Like sometimes it creates tension and stuff, but sometimes it just works. And I love those little studio moments. I like when they're captured even more on camera too. Oh, hello, DB, you clever motherfucker. Was it number 4? Wow. All right. Well, let's just say I'm surprised, but yes. There you go. How did you work that out? I wonder how you worked that out. All right. Let me know, DB, how you worked that out. That's quirky. Nicole says, these guys are better than AC/DC, in my opinion. Well, there we go. Probably an interesting comparison there. I'm not sure I quite go that far, but they are well worth. We'll see what they've got in another 20 years from now. Dean says, too much, too young, too fast. Was a different tempo and was struggling with the verses. After going to see Wasp, they heard Lick It Up by Kiss, and then the idea for the verse was set after that. Nice. All right. TC says, always thought they were much heavier than AC/DC. Yeah, I reckon they attack a lot harder. They hit those instruments so much harder. There's a lot more swing and groove to what AC/DC do. These guys are much more fucking direct. Dean, it was released on June 23, 2007 via EMI and debuted the Australian ARIA album chart number 21. Debuted number 62 in the UK album chart. Was released in the United States on 29th of January 2008 via Roadrunner Records and debuted at number 106 on the Billboard 200 chart. Danny says they keep Aussie pub rock in the world's face. Picked up where Bond stopped for me and made it their own. Nicely done there too. Good comment. Dean says Hellfire, US, UK, Japanese editions only, replaced by Let's Ride on the Australian and New Zealand editions. Okay, cool. Dean says Ted Jensen, who mastered the record at Sterling Sound, New York City, but Hellfire, which was mastered by Tony Jack the Bear Mans. Okay, nice. Okay, the limited edition version containing a bonus DVD with 8 live tracks from the band's appearance at the 2008 Wacken Open Air Festival, as well as music videos for the album's 3 singles. The bonus tracks include 2 new songs entitled Heads Are Gonna Roll and Red Dress Woman, remakes of the 3 songs in the 2004 EP Ready to Rock. Nice. He's gone, had this in my car last 2 weeks. What a great debut. All killer, no filler. There we go. Nicole says they are huge in Europe, apparently. Yes, they are. They are massive overseas. But BP has gone better than AC/DC. No chance. There we go. Dean says, great fucking live band. Saw them at last Summer Nats Festival, and you get to hang on by the seat of your pants, which is very nice to put there too. Nicole says, to me, they are BP. I'm old. They lost me years ago. Well, there we go. Robbie says, g'day. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. I've lesser rehearsals of Wednesday nights like cash up more often. Cheers. Well, okay, cool. Nice. Good to see you here again. DB, the debate continues. AC/DC wins. All right. Dean says, met Joel and Ryan at Cherry 3 times now. Last Saturday night, seeing the Port and had a beer and rocked out with them. It's great to know that the bands you love are down-to-earth blokes, and that's very true. Those guys are very cool. And back to the house stuff, DB, it just came to me. Things always do. Well done. I told you there's something about that house. I told you there is something about the house. So that's an interesting connection to make on doing this show tonight. So there we go. Dean says there are recordings of Cheap Wine with Making Love out there, but only the band has those recordings. Okay, I hope they will release that someday in like a big, bands have those box sets where they go through, like Alice in Chains had the music box thing with a whole bunch of stuff in there. And just when they go through and have unreleased demos and stuff, I love when bands do that stuff later on when there's enough of it there to make it a really interesting purchase. But yeah, I like that kind of stuff. That'd be cool to see that one come out eventually in the light of day. There we go. So Dean's gone. There you go, Andrew. Well, thank you very much for your contribution once again, Dean. Love it. I love having what you do brought into the fun of things here. And I know how much of a fan you are for this one because it was your voting that put this one over the top. for this week's Patreon review. So we'll see what happens with next week's one, because you've had a couple of yours now. You got AC/DC last week, and you got this one this week. I'm tipping you're not going to get your choice next week, knowing how the numbers are shaping up so far. I have a funny feeling it'll be a from memory an Anthrax one next week, but I'll have to double check when I go through the votes and count things out. But that starts to wrap us up for tonight. Hopefully you've enjoyed just having me to chat with. Well, I'm just going to quickly wet my throat again. But yeah, Nicole's gone cool. Thanks, Dean, for all that extra info, which is very, very nice. Yeah, really do appreciate it. I know it's a lot of work you put into the bands you absolutely adore. And by the way, Dean, Dean, in the Facebook comments, can you please put your band link or a link, something, because Dean has his band Rock and Volts and they're searching for a vocalist, I think, at the moment. So if you could confirm that for me, Dean, and just send me a link in the comments now. Excuse me, and I'll copy and paste it back into the conversation as we go through. So there we go. Cool. So just a bit of a thank you for the extra work he's put in. We'll give him his band a plug, and also, you know, if you're looking for this sort of, if you're a vocalist looking to get into this sort of style of music a bit, there's obviously more to it than that. Go and check out Rock and Volts' stuff in general. And oh, Jesus, DB. But yeah, there's how do you put it? Sorry. Fucking lost track. You'll understand why in a second. But no, it's great to have your feedback on the show, and just as a bit of a thank you, yeah, check out his band Rock and Volts. I've got an EP out before, but I think there's a lot more coming in the works, and I think the only thing holding up now is a vocalist. So give us a comment in here, mate, and then I'll give it a bit of a share for you as well. So if you're still here, Dean, please do that. Sally's gone, Dean is a metal encyclopedia. Awesome, mate. So there we go there. Quick random question from DB, which I'm not going to answer, but I'll put it out here anyway. Regular Randy, your favorite co-host out of all that you've worked with over the years? There's no way I can answer that one with any good faith at all. I actually have a cop out. My wife Jody. There you go. That'll be my cop out. That's how it's going to work for me. That's all there is to it. So there we go. It's in the comments now on Facebook. Just as we go through, it's www.linktree Rock and Volts. I can't quite copy paste for some reason. I don't know why. It's not letting me do it, but I can't copy paste. But yeah, Rock and Volts is there. I'll give it a share at another time as well. But yeah, my favorite co-host of all time is my wife, of course. I'm going to leave it there. So there we go. TC's gone. I think Nikki would have the best highlights package. Yeah, it could be a toss-up between her and Dennis, though, mate. Dennis had some fucking stunning moments as well. So there's some interesting bits and pieces there. Rowan says, is Dean looking for someone who can sing or for someone worthy of a top 10 Rolling Stone list? There we go. Dean, I'll let you answer that one in Facebook. But yeah, that's a good comment there from Rowan. What do we got here? Sally says, honey lemon, whiskey, and boiling water. That'll kill that tickle in your throat, Andrew. Yeah, it's just literally a case of, it happens to me all the time because I've talk for a lot of hours. When you talk for a couple of hours flat out, it tends to just sort of be that way. It's all good. I'll be fine when I stop talking. It's just you can't normally don't notice it because I'm able to sort of have a drink when people are here talking, doing their reviews, their thoughts, all stuff, and I'll stop for a minute. When it's awkward and there's dead air, I don't tend to do it as much, and so it just sort of gets a bit drier. That's all it is. But no, thank you for the feedback. I did, I sang years and years ago. I know all the old school tricks. I just haven't done them for a while because I just can't be bothered anymore, to be honest. Alrighty. Dean says, cheers, mate. Really appreciate it. Heaps. You know how much I love the show and support it. Yes, you do. You're fantastic for us. So thank you for everything you've done over the years. Nikki says, been watching on the smart TV, so couldn't type it. Good solid gig, Andrew, you and the frog. Well, so there we go. DB says it's got to be Dave. That's my wife. Nikki says, I'm here, Tim. So there we go. We're getting some back and forth now. Here we go. Rowan says, my favorite co-host is the dog. Now, Fred was the all-time favorite of everyone. I think Fred was more popular than any of us have ever been on the show. So if you were watching the times when Fred was still with us, then you would know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't know Fred, I do eventually want to put together a massive highlights montage reel kind of thing of everything he did on the show of this, because there's some adorable stuff and there's some outright chaos stuff that would just made him part of the furniture here. So that's where we are in that regard. Nicole is saying Scottish heritage. I'm not sure who is that directed at me? Or is that directed at someone else there, Nicole? So yeah, let me know who that's directed at. Dean says, not Rolling Stone, bloody hell. So there we go. And Andrew says, caught up with one of your co-hosts last Friday at the Blaze gig. There we go. Wow, we're getting a lot of comments coming through in a sudden burst there. Conrad says, happy to come on the show, Andrew, and co-host if you need it when Tim and Dave can't do it. I know, and I will work out something in that regard with you soon enough. It's just this one was very, very last minute. I did have a plan and then things go on. Okay, so I was directed at me, Nicole. Yes, I am actually. Scottish and English is my heritage. And so there we go. I don't know how you picked that one as well. Fucking everyone's going to know everything about me tonight. But yes, going back to the Scottish Highlands for my family. Let me know how you worked that one out. So that's that's how we go. Getting like full on red tonight. It's interesting. Rowan says, Fred co-host tonight over your left shoulder. Yes, he's always with us. That's why he's always on the set with us today. Every set we put up, that's the first thing. Literally, every time I build a set, that poster is always the first thing that goes up. It's always there. And Tabitha is the one that she did this for us. And if you want to give her a look up, then Paint Horse Design was the business she was running last time I checked. I'm pretty sure it's still that one now. She does some great stuff, and that's from her. Fantastic piece of work. It's been with us forever, that one. By the way, when are you selling those posters of Fred behind you? I haven't actually thought about that. I haven't thought about selling those posters. We do have some stubby holders with him on there. But I will investigate more of that sort of stuff in due course. Dean says, on your Fred. Nikki says, Fred with the love hearts. Now, the Sally says, not all good. Doesn't feel that way. It's all good. Woohoo, Fred, yes. Now, the thing with Fred is that if you watch like even now, I'll do a credits thing at the end. You'll see the credits roll. The very thing at the end where the dog barking, if you haven't seen Fred before, that's actually Fred. We treated him. We got him up on an old set on a bar top. And got him up there and made him do because he'd speak on command. And so you'd make him bark. We did like our version of the MGM line with our fucking Great Dane Cross Rottweiler, which was just a fantastic thing. And that's how we work it out. All right, here we go. Nicole says, fast talking is a slight trait in Scotland. I'm also a fast talker. Even some Scottish rallies can't understand the Scots that speak fast. I used to have to interpret. Yeah, I've been pulled up on that numerous times. When I get going, it's so yeah, there we go. It works out. Yeah, very much a fast talking thing is definitely a tell if that's the case. I didn't know that one personally, but that's definitely one of those ones there. Andrew Marshall says, having similar ancestors on one side, Andrew is quite Scottish. I get it all from my father's side, so that's how that works out. I'm definitely my father's son. That's where it all comes from. If you ever saw him and I together in the same room, you'd pick us in a heartbeat. Ooh, trick question. Sally's gone, have you ever seen Ghost Fred? No, but I have had, if we're going down this path again, really interesting dreams with him before. So there were some dreams that we've had that just stand out after he passed. And it's led me, here we go. I'm going to go all in on the weird stuff tonight. It's led me to have a bit of a theory when it comes to there are certain pets that you connect with, and it's not every pet you've got, and there's some bonds are deeper than other ones. And I think that personally, for me, I think that everyone has the theory of soulmates when it comes to people. I think there's a part of your people are going to laugh at this probably, but I think it's an interesting concept, and it's led me to sort of think about this idea that these pets that sort of come into your life that you deeply, deeply bond with, it's almost like they've got a part of your soul in them. And so when they move on, they take a piece of you with them. And when you go to where they've gone, you'll all be sort of reunited into the one sort of whole. It's a bit of a weird thing, but there's something there about that. And so there have been dreams with Fred since he passed that have sort of, there was one in particular where, because he was getting older and he had lumps and bumps as he got older, and you knew he was fading away in time, but he was less on camera as the years went on. But just the way that he turned up in that dream, he was healthy, happy, bouncing around. Like, he was always healthy and happy. That's not a fair thing to say, actually. He was always happy and healthy until the very last day. But you get the skin tags and that come up with an older dog, because he got to 9.5 in the end, which is old for that sort of size dog. But there was a dream I had where all those little markings were gone. He looked much like he did when he was sort of 3 or 4 years old, and he was just running around, carrying on, having a grand old time. And you woke up, And when you wake up, you can still, it's a dream, I know, but you can still smell them, you can still feel them in there, and sort of, it makes you lost a part of yourself again. You wake up and it's gone. So not ghost Fred, but just interactions in dreams have made me think that there's more to it than just what, people might or might not think, depending. But that's a personal opinion. Make of that what you will. You can have a crack at me or agree. It doesn't really matter to me. It's just my state of mind, my thoughts. So there you go. We're getting into really interesting territory tonight. We have not done this on the show at all, ever. So there we go. That's a different vibe for you there. But no, my wife and I, Jody, both absolutely miss him every single day. And he was much more her dog than mine. But yeah, he was a special unit, that one. Very, very special dog. All right, what do we got here? Dean says he was a big dog, even though I never saw him in person, but on TV. He was a big, big boy. He weighed close to 80 kilos at his peak, and that was when he was full of muscle and really strong and big as a bull. Like, I remember, because you wouldn't throw a tennis ball, you'd just fucking swallow the thing. So you'd kick a football, an Aussie rules football, and you'd kick it down we used to have like an acre block. It's fucking barrel down there. And he'd go barreling after it, and then he'd come running back, and he'd want you to do that all day long with him. And the funniest thing was, I was a dumb fuck that figured I'd try and sort of tackle him when he came running past. He put me square on my ass in a heartbeat. So he was a tank. He was just a huge, huge unit. Back to the Scottish stuff. Michael Gow says, I have Scottish ancestry as well. So there we go. Danny says, I feel my cat in my bed all the time. And there are different things, different people. So it is just how it is, how you connect to stuff. That's just how it works. Conrad says, love how you have Vic Rattlehead eyes Fred there in the poster. Yeah, it wasn't us. It was actually a donation from Tabitha. Like it's a paint horse design. It was just her. She actually, when we used to do gigs at Lucky 13 Garage, she walked up one day and just said, I hope you don't mind, but I created this. And so she gave it to us, and it's been there ever since. And every time I redesign the set, first thing that goes up is that one, without fail. He's the mascot of everything we have. He's been everything we've done. Dean says, not weird, mate. I believe in those things in afterlife and come to your dreams. He will always be around with you and your family, and yeah, he will. He won't be forgotten. He's probably one of the most documented dogs of all time. We've got hours and hours and hours of footage with him kicking around, so there's always something there. Danny says, soul family brother. So there we go. There's something different there too, and I do agree with that kind of stuff. Nicole says, Fred is a name that I use for everything from huntsman's, ghosts, and my kid. His name is Benjamin, but I've always called him Fred. My grandfather that died before I was born was called Fred. The funniest thing here is that my wife's father, his name was actually Fred, and it was one of our daughters that named Fred the dog. I forget the other name they were trying to give him, but it didn't take. And as soon as Tori called out Fred, the dog just turned his head, and it was just bang. And there's a funny story. Living in Queensland, there was my wife was on the phone to her mother, and Fred and the rooster that was on this property would play this game where they'd run across the yard. So the dog would chase the rooster, and then the rooster would chase the dog back the other way, and they go back and forth. It was like, I think it was Foghorn Leghorn is the cartoon I'm thinking of. So it was just like that. And so Jody would yell out, Fred, stop chasing, like just yell out for Fred to come into her, and she'd be on the phone to her mother, and she was like, okay, that brings up memories with, calling out to her husband's name and stuff. So there's a whole fun thing in that regard as well. Back on the pets, Dean says, I always loved with my family cat growing up, so I definitely know how it feels. There we go. TC says, our pug sleeps in the middle of our bed. Her name is Zoe, or as I prefer to call her, the cock block. That happens too. Try it with a Great Dane, mate, because when we had our Danes sleeping on the bed, we don't do it anymore, but when we had them, Caesar, who is the biggest of them all now that you might see now and then, he runs around and gets in here all the time. But he gets in between me and Jody all the time. That's his place. He's got to be, and he puts his head under my pillow kind of thing. He just gets snuggled right in against me. And if he can't do that, he'll move. And then over the night, he'll progressively stretch out. So Jody and I are getting pushed. We're in a king-size bed, and this dog has the lion's portion of by a long, long way. He just takes up everything inside his. He's huge and he's strong too. He just pushes you out of the way. One of the funniest things he used to do because now I feed the dogs, but Jody used to feed them in the morning. He'd walk up, grab the bedding and pull the bedding away and actually roll Jody out of bed before we had the bigger bed we got now. So it was fucking bizarre. But what he does to me now is he'll run up and pull the bedding aside and just try and yank me out of the bed as well. he's got his routine. He's got his quirks. He's a funny old dog, but yeah, he's an adorable beast, but he's huge. So when he sleeps on the bed, it's like, yeah, good luck getting any rest because he just takes up the entire bloody space. Sally says, yes, most definitely soul connection with certain furry kids. My doggo as well. She passed over 15 years ago. I still miss her like no other furry kid. There are some that just stay with you. That is definitely the truth. Dean says, learning a different side to tonight, mate. Yeah, well, that's not where I expected it to go, but I'm here, so why not? I've got no issues with it at all. I'm a pretty open book to pretty much most things. So there we go. Hopefully you're enjoying this kind of weird and wacky broadcast. It is a bit different, but hey, why not? We're here. BP, my main dog was Rambo, been gone 27 years, German Shepherd. There are some, I still remember an old puppy we only had him for 2 weeks and I was a kid, Rex. It was a German Shepherd dog that we had. And there was something about that dog. I played with him every minute of every day, and then he got hit by a car, and being young, it was like, okay, it was pretty devastating. But at the same time, I still haven't forgotten that dog. There's still a bit of a soft spot for that one. Even though it was only a couple of weeks, it was just a weird bond with that dog. There are some you just connect with, no matter how old or young you are. There are just some that just click, and that was one of those ones. Was Rex years and years ago. That's fucking Jesus. Well over 30 years ago now. Nikki says, Caesar is also a blanket thief on your guest beds. Yes, because Nikki has crashed at our joint and has had the bed buddy Caesar stay with her. And yes, he does take all the blankets, all the bedding, everything he can get, he takes it. So there we go. Bit different. Nicole says, my staffy was called Tarkian after Tarkian Lockyer, who played for Collingwood. He crossed the bridge a year ago. Condolences. That never gets any easier. But yeah, staffies are great dogs. So both my sisters have staffies, and they're great family dogs. High energy, but great family dogs. Yeah, staffies are definitely ones to stay with you for a long time in terms of what your memory and your emotional sort of state connection to them is. Man family says the strange spoon can open in army ration packs is called a Fred fucking ridiculous eating device. Wow, I did not know that one. There you go. Something different there as well. There is a Fred for fucking everything, I swear. What do we got here? Danny says, I've been watching you from the start, bro, and tonight's insight into your life was fucking awesome. Best show by far. Well, there we go. Cheers for taking the time and seeing this kind of stuff. And more positive here. Dean said, loving this, mate. Always learning something new every day. Well, I'm happy to share. I love it. So I'm happy to talk to anyone and everyone about anything. I ask my wife. She's always trying to pull me away from the conversations I end up having. Andrew says, I lost the dogs in the divorce. Then she sold them. I have a good connection with my son's dog these days. That hurts, man. That sucks. Sympathies on that. That's a bit rough. That's just, yeah, I don't like that. I'm glad you can have a connection with your son's dog these days. Hopefully one day you'll be able to get your own if you feel like doing so. But all right. We are going to move on. I do have some other things to do. I've got to get up for work in the morning. So it's been an absolute blast. I'm going to quickly do a bit of a shout out here to some Patreon supporters. So we have Tim Caterson, Sonny Donabella, Lee McDonald, Bell Wright, Conrad O'Collins, Jason Winch, Brendan Ellison, 16x9, Marty Powell, Sam Biondo, Trash Vegas, Carolyn Mallet, Gwyneth Richards, Andrew Heyman, Daniel Bateman, and the Mann family. Thank you all so much for your support on our Patreon page. Again, that link is in the description, so please do go and check it out. Have a look around there as well. If you do decide to join up to our Patreon page, there's also voting. You get updates and stuff. You get exclusive footage. But also, we're going to be doing a giveaway. And next month, or the beginning of next month, we're going to give away one of these old school glass steins I've kicking around for a few years now. I've got a few of these left, so I'm going to give one away. The giveaway is a choice of this or a ginger T-shirt, which is in support of Ukraine. So you got to take your pick, and then we'll organise it after the fact, whichever one wins. So you will be in the running if you join our Patreon page, and we'll do those sorts of things monthly as well. Different giveaways all the time. There'll be a choice involved, so you can sort of get what you want out of it, as best as I can manage anyway. So yes, please do sign up to our Patreon page. At the same time, I'm going to put that link again in the comments just because I've got to plug this stuff anyway. So please do get amongst it. Give us a bit of a look. Would be greatly appreciated if you just check it out. The cheapest thing is like $2 a month, so 50 cents a week. If you can afford that, it allows me to spend more time doing this and less time doing things like the day job tomorrow. What else have we got here? Yeah, Sally says, sold them, bitch. Yep. And Nicole says that's just nasty when it comes back to the dogs. So yeah, again, a lot of sympathy for Andrew there. That's a bit shit. But again, he's gone, the early Channel 10 computer was Fred, fucking ridiculous electronic device. There you go. All right. We are getting out there. Wow. Nicole says, is that a sublimated beer stein? Yes, it is. It's a sublimated beer stein. This was from our Hard Rock Show extravaganza from this one here. So that's the poster that's on the stein. It holds a full stub of your beer. It's a great little stein. BP says, I have one of those glasses, limited edition to 30. So yes, there's less than 30. They've got maybe 10 or 12 left, I think. So they are limited. They're not getting run again. That's it. When they're done, they're done. Dean says, got to support you more on Patreon to get up the dollars. Well, you do what you can. You're already on there, so that's okay. But anyone else who wants to join in would be greatly, greatly appreciated. But giving a shout out, I'll do those things. Make sure you check out our sponsors as well. A big thank you to Squid Ink Screen Printing, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, are in the description box. So please find them, give them a like, follow, share. All those things help greatly on social. Just anything you can do is greatly, greatly appreciated. Back to the Patreon here. Danny's gone, don't be cheap in Patreon, you fuck. So there we go. Cheers for the support in that regard. Any and all help is greatly appreciated. It doesn't matter how big or small you go. Just, it's greatly appreciated. And like I said, the more I can get in that regard, the more I can spend doing things like this. And if it means more random little chats like this, well then, hey, who knows? We'll see what happens in that regard. Now, when it comes to things to plug coming up, make sure you're following us as well. Our details, just like everything else, in the description box. Find your preferred social media platform. Give us a follow, a like, a share, even if you can't help us on Patreon. Sorry, I have a question there, which I'll get to in a second. But the lost track of thought. What was I doing? Yes, our details. So please do like, follow, subscribe. Even if you can't help us on Patreon or anything else, liking, interacting with us, all that sort of stuff keeps us in your feed, and it also helps us get more reach organically as well, which means I have to spend money on getting ads and stuff done, which I don't have a lot to spare for that kind of stuff anyway. But anything you can do, even if you can't help us financially, just getting on the socials, make sure you're liking a post now and then, getting involved in the conversation that happen. If you see it, don't just scroll by, actually interact with it. That sort of stuff is a great help to us as well, and doesn't cost anything more than a few seconds of your time. It's greatly appreciated as well. Quick question here. BP's going, why can't you add a donation option to the lives? I think I can somewhere. I just don't know if I can do it through this platform, which is where it gets a bit tricky, because I'm using this platform, which gets me into YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch all at the same time. And I'm not sure how it all works with using this platform to integrate that kind of stuff. I will investigate it. If I get enough time to do so, I will try my best in that regard. Just what's coming up this week on THRS for TV-wise. So tomorrow night, on Thursday night, we're on 10 p.m. Australian Central Daylight Time on Channel 44 in Adelaide. And that is all about drinking songs. That one, so the one that was on in Melbourne last week is what's happening happening tomorrow night in Adelaide. So that's Thursday night, 10 p.m. Australian Central Daylight Time. It's all about drinking songs. You can watch that online via ctvplus.org.au if you choose to do so as well. So you don't have to watch it in Adelaide. You can watch it online as well. It's like a simulcast kind of thing. And then on Saturday night, 10:30 p.m., Channel 31 in Melbourne. We got a 2-hour special episode, which is actually a bit different because we've had obviously a bit of a rough week this week. No one's been able to sort of be available to jump in and out and stuff. So I've just got together and we did the moon theme one and we did the drinking themed one the last couple of weeks. So we had a whole lot of offcuts of those ones. I'll put all those together into a 2-hour episode for the new one. So there's a few new tracks in there as well. So there's a new track from Hail Mary. The one from SkinInc is getting a play as well. There's a blast in the past with Kanerka, which I played last stream as well. And also opening the show with the latest from Arcane Saints. Just give a bit of a plug to Tim to help his band out and get some more awareness out there. So there's around those 4 new tracks, or 3 new tracks, 1 old track. There's a whole bunch of stuff to do with the moon and drinking songs. When it gets to the moon stuff in the second hour, if you thought Brendan's choices were wild and the one that actually made it to TV last time around, you're in for a fucking really rude shock. I can't believe some of those are actually going to get played on the Hard Rock Show, but we're going to do it because why not? It's a bit of fun, so have some fun with it as we go along. After that, we'll be rerunning our Metal Church special from about 12:30 at night, and then after that will be sort of highlights from the last 10 years, musically speaking, would be the other 2 hours as well. So that keeps you going until 4:30 on Sunday morning. So heaps of stuff coming your way this week coming up as well on the show. For the next stream, back again next Wednesday night. I'm not sure what and where, how and everything yet, so we'll keep up to date with us online to check out more of that as well. But that's what's sort of coming up. BP says, do it when it comes to doing the donation button. I'll see what I can do in that regard. I do appreciate the feedback, though. I'll do my best. But now I do have to go to the bin. I will put something in the bin this week, and it's pretty Boring, but, if you're a footy supporter, you'll see it. AFL match review and the tribunal. Get the fuck in the bin. You're 1 week into the year and you fucked it up. I don't know how you achieved the results you've achieved or whatever. It's a complete shambles. There's no real consistency, and you don't even provide any sort of update that gives us any clarity. So fix this shit. Get in the bin. It's pretty important to get that right. And if you're not going to get that part right, then rewrite the rules to make it fucking clear. Or as clear. I know there's always grey area in a contact sport, but fuck, seriously, it can't be that hard. Just simplify it so it's easier to get that sort of stuff done, please. It make life a lot easier. Speaking of, here we go. The bin. Rioli getting off for his careless act to Matt Rowell in the West Coast versus Gold Coast Suns. That was a bit of a doozy. That's the big one that everyone's talking about, but also, there's a few, just all of it. I don't get how that one doesn't, and then Mitch Robinson doesn't. I don't know. Anyway, Michael says, in the bin, overpaid politicians who think they understand the common folks surviving what money they can with the rising cost of living and rising petrol prices. Very good point, sir. I think that will be, yes, definitely up there for a lot of people at the moment. So it's a very big concern. We need to get that fixed ASAP. Danny says, the bin. Dick Smith totally fucked my order, then called me a liar. Fuck you, Dickie boy. Well, there you go. Dick Smith has some interesting options going on there. BP says boosters in the bin. I'm assuming you didn't like the last one you had. But yeah, that's if you didn't like that one, then I do sympathize with you. TC says Collingwood and Carlton winning round one can get in the bin. It'll be a long year if both those clubs start winning games. Yes, spoken like a true Essendon supporter after last week. So there you go, Tim. That's for you. That was a lot of fun in the chat afterward. But Nikki says my footy tips can get in the bin. Hey, I'm doing better this year than last year. I'll take that for now. I'm not going to win, but yeah, that's a much better thing for me there. I'm doing better this time around. Man Family says, deliberate rule, get rid of it. That's a pretty, I'm not a huge fan of that one personally. I don't really see the point of it, but, it is what it is in that regard. But I think that about does it. Well, I finished off the last of my drink there. I think we've had a good night. Okay, order. So Dick Smith fucked my order up and then called me a liar. Yes. I do sympathize with that greatly. Alrighty. But I think that's about it. I think we're done. What else? Okay. Dean says, cheers, mate, for the show and plug for my band. The only thing stopping us from moving forward is as sad as it is. So there we go. Yes, there we go. Yeah, Danny's saying thanks for BP for fixing things there. But yeah, I'm just scrolling through and I've got a bunch of things happening at the same time. So I don't really, if it's a bit out of whack, I try and spend a second. If it doesn't come to you straight away, I'll sort of just move on so I can sort of keep things moving. My apologies for that, but if I don't, I'll be here all night, which it's funnily enough, this thing's taken about the usual time frame and it's just me here tonight. So, maybe that's the reason why the show goes as long as it does is because I'm the one doing it. Take that for what it's worth. But hopefully you've all had a good time tonight. It was something a bit different. It was fun for me as well. It's been a really good chance to interact and have a bit of a different chat tonight. So it's been a lot of fun. But thank you all so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again very, very soon. But that's it for now. We'll see you all again next Wednesday if nothing else. So make sure you tune in to the streams and the TV show as always. There's more coming out soon as well with the online stuff. So just keep an eye on things and we'll see you all again very, very soon. Until next time though, I'm Andrew on behalf of us all here at the show. Thank you all for tuning in. You know what to do. We'll see you soon. Until then, drink up, rock on.